Probably should not be teaching this, but this is as far as I know, I believe it's unblockable, and the only thing you can really do is parry to get out of it if you have drive meter. And basically, after the EX air grab, she has a command grab in the air. It's like down back punch, I believe. Let me see, I haven't used Kimberly in a while, so basically you have to do the hard punch Rekka combo that puts him up in the air. That's the one I use. I don't know if there's another one, but so basically super jump, and then you gotta wait a second. You super jump with them by pressing down up on the final hit of the Rekka. So when 2, 3 on the third hit, you press down up real fast. Like super jump is when you like, I don't know if it has to be a super jump anymore, but basically when you press down and then up really fast. Like most people when they jump, they press up. But when you press down up real fast, it counts as a way higher jump. That's what you see a lot of people doing in Marvel vs. Capcom and stuff like that. Like when it comes to Marvel vs. Capcom particularly, and Dragon Ball Z and stuff like that, Dragon Ball FighterZ, I mean, like, I'm not 100% sure if Dragon Ball FighterZ has the super jump. I think it kind of does. But that's just something that's, even like Chun-Li, for example, in Third Strike, Street Fighter Third Strike, she can super jump the last hit of her, I think it's Super R2. So wait, let me try to do it again. So I believe I throw the spray can first after the ground bounce, after the air grab, and then I throw the medium punch version of the spray can, which is down medium punch, and then I dash forward and I do a cross up with the jumping light kick. Now, in the actual ranked matches, I've caught people with the unblockable setup. There was like one player that actually parried it, but you get a free grab either way. So guaranteed at the very least, he's gonna have to either break a grab, or I don't even think he could break a grab because it's such a difficult I don't know. It's a difficult situation to block. I know that much. I'm pretty sure it's I'm calling it unblockable. I'm not 100% certain about that. I know it does beat DP. It beats Dragon Punch, Enhanced, and everything. Guile's, Flash Kick, all that. So that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people, like, sleep on these, you know, I was talking to another Kimberly player from TikTok, and I was trying to explain to him the I'm calling it an unblockable. I know you can parry it, but like I said, if they parry it, they can reversal after that. So you have to be careful. If they tried to parry you, then I would just go for the grab immediately instead of trying to continue pressure, because, you know, they could try to do an invincible reversal immediately after the parry. But from what I understand, I believe it only works off an actual, like, perfect parry. So unless you hear that perfect parry sound, which, you know, I'm not denying that people can do that, but it's very unlikely because the timing, you could, you know, the jump light kick timing is different than the jump medium kick timing, and they both cross up for whatever reason. Like, see what I mean? It's a weird situation where it's like, I don't know if the timing's exactly the same, but I feel like with the medium kick, I can hit it like maybe a little bit later. I mean, earlier. Whereas the light kick, if I do the light kick early, it's just gonna whiff to the grounded opponent. So that's what I mean. You have kind of two options to throw off their parry timing. So in my heart, like, I feel like that's pretty much certifies it as an unblockable. I could be wrong about this, but I've beaten every player, like any player that I've done that to has been schooled. Like, I've schooled everyone with it. Like, I've beaten Guile players that think they can flash kick everything with it. You know, DJ players, everybody. So no one can deny that. You know what I mean? It's just that they're unaware of what to really do, and, like, you know, in my honest opinion, I think, like, parry is the only way really to deal with it. But, like, I personally don't like to parry at close range. I'd rather play my luck trying to play defense, because I don't even like to give up the free grab. I'm the type of player where I don't even like to give up the free grab. So, like, parrying at close range, unless I know for a fact I can kind of get away with it. You know, like, for example, if Sagat's trying to do like Tiger Knee at close range, I might try to parry that. That's the only thing that I'll try to parry because it has such a long recovery time. So I could recover from parry before he could really grab me, is what I'm trying to say. You know what I'm saying? But back to the unblockable is, so basically you have to do hard punch, quarter circle, hard punch, special move. It'll automatically, 2, 3. It'll automatically do, it's a 2-hit record. So like, usually it started with a standing hard kick, crush counter combo, or just standing hard punch, counter hit. Let me do it. I haven't done it in so long. I feel like I'm gonna mess this up. Throw the spray can, dash forward. See what I mean? Like, before they can ever drag anti-air you, you're already on the other side. So it's gonna change up their it's gonna change up the direction that the opponent, even though I feel like sometimes, even though you still do the dragon punch on the same side, when you input it, it comes out as a like an anti cross up. Like, it'll redirect and still hit the opponent, even though you did the direction that they previously were. But that's only because the reason that works is because they haven't touched the ground yet. I'm pretty sure that's the real reason that's the only reason that actually works, is because I think until you actually touch the ground, the opponent's inputs are still the same. So that's why you see, like, when you do a dragon punch on the side, like if they were to the left of you and you dragon punch to the left of you, and they're still like, and they've already made it to the other side, when you input that dragon punch, it'll still consider that the input was done for the other side. But I don't agree with that. I think it should be complete misdirection. That's part of what makes the game fun. And that's part of the reason why I think this game is better than King of Fighters and SNK. This game, I love the character design of King of Fighters. I don't want to sound like a hater. I personally think King of Fighters has like more variety. Like, when it comes to like the character style, you know, there's some similarities like to Street Fighter. But like, they have like an American wrestler that's like a fat white boy. But like, it's kind of, it's like, you know, and he's like a straight rushdown, like, you know what I mean? It's like, but anyway, back to, I like King of Fighters, you know what I'm saying? King of Fighters 12 was my favorite, but King of Fighters 13, everyone considers King of Fighters 13. Everybody considers King of Fighters 13 to be the best one. But in my opinion, King of Fighters 12 was better. Even though I don't know, it looked like it was a little bit more polished on the King of Fighters 13 animations. I don't know if my settings were wrong, but on my LCD back then, it was terrible. Like, not terrible, but it looked like it had rough edges. You know what I'm saying? In comparison to King of Fighters 13. You know, I don't want to say terrible, but like, it looked like a little bit more rough around the edges, for sure. You know what I'm saying? But King of Fighters 13, like, I understand why they had to touch you know, the one combo that basically destroyed a character. Like, you know, you catch them one time in a mistake and then the round is over. I don't agree with that. You know how many times I've outplayed players and just like completely, not just beaten them, but like completely spanked them and schooled them. And then they land one combo on me and like they win the round, and I'm like, what? Like that's not really fair. You know what I mean? All right, but back to the now like, depending on what they do in that situation, you know, you can really crack their defense, because after the jumping light kick, I noticed that you can actually do the overhead because the spray can goes off after the jumping light kick. So when you cross up with the jumping light kick, the spray can almost immediately goes off. But you can do an overhead after it, like, and say, It depends. It depends. I don't know. I don't know exactly like, you know, what's true and what's not after that. But I've caught players. I feel like the overhead is possible to pull off after that, because I've caught people with the overhead into the. You know what I'm saying? After the overhead, you could do, I think, like 2 jabs into the super. After the overhead, I don't like to do light kick after that, like just crouching jab. And I like to usually hit confirm it into her quarter circle light punch special move, which, by the way, works really good on players that really like to break grab a lot, because it kind of looks like a grab a little bit. Like, it looks like she kind of has the same hand extended. You see what I mean? Like, this is the grab animation. Now, let me do the only difference is, obviously, you can tell because she slides forward. But, like, when you're constantly pressuring your opponent, that's also a good way to counter hit your opponent. Like, if you know for a fact you put them at a range where, like, a crouching jab might miss, a lot of times you could get there with the crouching like punch, like, you know, and get a good counter hit. You know what I'm saying? But so Rekka, it has to be the enhanced air grab. Throw the spray can after that. Now you could. The funny thing is, I've air grabbed. I've super. Drive meter air grab. Which also works very good as an air to air. Believe it or not, with Kimberly, I feel like most Kimberly players do not air to air with the drive meter command grab. The reason I say that is because, you know, if the game's on the line and you land an air to air, you know, drive meter command grab, you basically land a level 3 easy. You could basically do anything after that. I could probably Rekka them back up into the air. Spray can, medium punch. I could do another air grab after that. Which I have caught players with. Like, let's see. EX command grab, spray can. I didn't have any spray cans, my fault. So I do basically the starter combo for this is usually like if you drive rush a medium punch, you could go into the hard punch Rekka combo. As far as I know, especially on counter hit. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure you can if you do it fast enough. See? EX air grab, medium front spray can. Another air grab. Uh-oh. You know what I'm saying? You have so many, you know, any Kimberly player knows that you have a lot of options outside of that. The reason I like to go for the light kick instead of the medium kick is because I feel like the block stun is way less on the crouching light kick. But since they have to deal with it and they can't immediately go into like the scrub crouching light kick, crouching jab to try to stop you from pressuring them, the spray can stops them from doing that and keeps them in their place. So like, you can hit them low, you can hit them high after that. But I do believe if you try to hit them low after the spray can, it considers that they were blocking low, so it just automatically just strings the blocks together, unfortunately, I think. Maybe, I don't know. Don't quote me on that. I know it's a good pressure tactic that I never see Kimberly players though. Medium punch spray can, cross up. If it hits, you basically could do another air grab if you want, which does a lot of damage. Believe it or not, that does do a lot of damage because it's such a rarely. It's a special move that's used almost as a combo ender. You know what I mean? But it can be used as like a pretty strong. I don't recommend, like, I'd be lying if I said just try to air grab your opponent and get a win. Like, you're not gonna do that in Street Fighter at the highest level. No player, as good as I may be, I can't even do that. You know what I'm saying? You can't just, you know, learn one setup or one situation and go, oh, okay, I figured it all out, and I'm just gonna do crouching medium kick. You know, you have to know every situation possible. You know, you have to know everything. But EX command grab, medium punch spray can. Oh, I missed it though. But yeah, that's the whole point. That's That's the whole point. I believe that isn't unblockable. They still can parry it, but if you see that they're activating parry, I would just get the free grab. Any damage you land on your opponent is good damage, whether it's a grab, whether it's a jab, you know. I don't know why that standing hard kick missed right there. I guess I was too far, but you know, she has a lot of amazing combos. I personally like to go for the Rekka instead of she has probably character. The one thing that I say is unfair about Capcom and the way they design the characters is that I don't know. Maybe there is a reason why they exclude. Like, Ryu does have a target combo, but it's not really a target combo you have to worry about close range. But, like, I feel like Kimberly, for example, maybe because she needs it, but, you know, for example, like, you could do a crouching light kick starter, and it'll go right into, like, her hard punch, hard kick target combo off of a crouching light kick. See what I mean? Like, God forbid, like, if Ryu had that, if Ryu and Ken had that, like, it would be terrifying. Because that would be such, like, in a way, I'm glad they didn't give those characters, like, that ability, because, you know, it seems a little unfair at first, but like, I'm glad that I'm glad that they added it. You know what I'm saying? All right, so, you know, I don't know. Those are the combos I like to do with Kimberly. Usually, I mean, you can go for the damage instead. Like, this is the same combo with the EX air grab. I keep dropping. My controller's drifting, guys. That's why I didn't like... I have to get a new controller because my controller's kind of drifted out a little bit. So, that's why I've been losing a lot to you, like, some of you scrubs. Because I dropped my controller so many times that, like, when I play ranked online and I'm streaming, I'm losing to guys that I'm like, there's no way I could possibly lose to this guy, and it's because my controller's, like, pressing buttons at the wrong, like, at like, random times by itself. And I've actually tested that, but, what was I gonna say? And I really care about my ranked status. Like, I always have. When it came to Street Fighter, I always wanted to be, you know what I'm saying, the #1 player on the leaderboard. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't even care about the money, man. I just want to be #1. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. This is the combo. You could go right into a level 3 after the, but it can't be off the forward hard kick, then up forward medium punch, crouching forward light punch. It won't connect after that. Unless, I believe you have to go directly into the level 3 after the standing hard kick. I'm not 100% positive on that. And I feel like, I don't think you can actually. No, you can't. That's the main reason I stopped doing that combo. In the corner, you can. I'm wrong about that. In the corner, you can do the forward hard kick, medium punch. That's why they have that trial. But anywhere else on the screen and the level 3 will not even connect. Believe me, I've tried plenty of times. What was I gonna say? Oh yeah. Hold up. Let me see. What was I gonna do? The combo after the AX air grab. Okay, so, like, if they make, like, a big mistake, the best counter hit that I noticed, a lot of people like to go for that standing hard kick with Kimberly to get the crush counter. But I like to do standing hard punch into quarter circle back punch button, which is the freestyle. The freestyle special move that she has that's normally used for anti-projectile can also be used to extend your counter hit. Like, let's say he does a flash kick or a dragon punch anti-air, and you know for a fact you have all the time in the world to catch him with a standing hard punch counter hit. So you do standing hard punch. You could get 2 off. You get 2 hard punches just starting off the combo. You're getting 2 hard punches. Then you drive rush the second one. A lot of people like to get fancy with Kimberly and do like hard punch into medium punch, then like they'll connect the medium punches back into the hard punches. So like they'll do like hard punch, drive rush, crouching medium punch. Then they'll do standing medium punch, drive rush back into the hard punch. You get what I'm saying? Like that's how you see those players are really doing it. They're usually connecting. The only from what I understand, unless it's a counter hit, the only option normal attack that does not have that ability besides counter hit is, well, there's 2. Crouching light kick, unless you crouching jab after it, can only go into another jab drive rush. So like if I really wanna, and you can end it with a special move, like with every character basically. So like let's say I crack my opponent's defense with crouching light kick, crouching light punch. I hit him with the crouch jab. I could drive rush that crouch jab. I'm messing up right now because my controller's all jacked up, but one was up, and if you have a level 3, believe me, as stupid as that combo sounds, at the highest level, that might be the reason why you win. So never disregard the damage that like a combo can do. Like, oh, everyone, like, just because crouching light kick, crouching jab, quarter circle forward light punch with Kimberly, normally it's a good combo. It's a decent combo. I recommend every player knows how to do this. Because even if you drop it, a lot of times they be thinking that you're going for grab and you'll counter hit them anyway. But the point I'm trying to make is that it doesn't seem like much, but when you save that level 3, believe it or not, it does mean a lot. And that's why I recommend saving that level 3 for those crouching light kick, crouching light punch combos, or any variation of that combined. But like, if you want to get fancier, you can, you know, that's what I'm saying. Like, you'll never be able, unless it's counter hit, I'm pretty sure it does not go into medium punch. As far as I know. I could be wrong about that. Maybe it's a per character basis, but I know that the jab, I'm messing up though. Like, let's say, for example, I do 1, 2, 3. Let's see, hold up. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. That was what? 3, 6, 9 jabs plus the quarter circle forward punch. Now he has the level 3 damage. So like, never sleep. That's my best advice to like a new player. A lot of these new players, they want every combo they do is like it has to be, including myself, it has to be the most maximum damage possible every single time. You know, and sometimes just doing this 1, 2, 3. After the 3rd one, you can no longer combine the light punch anymore or the crouching light kick anymore. So like, let's say you get your opponent in a loop, which it's like the Makoto style where it was like a crouching light kick, light punch, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Oh wait, no, I kept going. Hold up, they fixed it? 1, 2, 3, 3. Oh, they fixed it. Oh, before they used to push you, they put enough block stun. You know how many scrubs I've caught with that? Like 6 times in a row. It's like 1, 2, 3. He's trying to jump. 1, 2, 3. He's trying to jump. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Do not sleep on that combo because that combo goes into level 3. I mean, there's a lot of variations of it. Like if you use meter, you know, you can do a lot more. Kimberly's not really necessarily. See what I mean? You could even do that. Like crouching light kick, crouching light punch, I believe does combo into that medium punch EX. Not the hard punch Rekka, but the medium punch Rekka. And if you don't know about the medium punch, I mean the enhanced Rekka gives you hard punch Rekka results with the use of meter. But the importance of that is that not only do you get a hard knockdown, which gives you a spray can setup, which maybe makes Kimberly the scariest character in the entire game. But you have options out of that. And that's what I always loved about, you know, the fighting game developers, is that, like, you know, you do have options. Like, depending on the situation, like, if I want to get the level 3 after that, I can. Like, hold up. I messed up, my boys. Hold up. I messed up, my boys and girls. Okay, air grab. That's the quarter circle forward light kick. I mean, if you do quarter circle forward light kick, and then press kick again. Oh wait, no. If you press light kick again after that, you'll stop her from doing that. Because if you don't press anything after the quarter circle forward light kick, she'll do this weird thing that I honestly don't even recommend using unless it's a combo ender. I don't recommend pressuring your opponent with it unless you know for a fact it's a combo ender. It's not like when the game first launched where it was catching everybody. It's not like that anymore. I feel like they patched it in a weird way where it's like, not in a weird way, but in a good way, where it's way easier to counter hit her with an anti-air after that. So if you are going to do that with Kimberly, if you are going to use the run with Kimberly, which I don't recommend because I even think on block it's unsafe to super. Like I said, I would only use that as a combo ender. I have no problem. I usually go Rekka, but believe it or not, that's a good combo right there. I'm not gonna hate on it. It's one of the trials. Is the standing hard punch, quarter circle forward kick with Kimberly. Any kick button basically, but then you have to press hard kick while she's running. Once the run starts activating, you press hard kick, light kick, or medium kick, and one is an overhead. The hard kick is an overhead, which I do not recommend unless you do like counter hit close range. I don't even think it works unless at the very least you do like counter hit medium punch. But at that point, you might as well do like counter hit medium punch, standing hard punch, you know, whatever the hell you can get off of it. You know what I mean? Standing medium punch, crouching medium punch, counter hit, crouching, you know, standing. If you counter hit your opponent with like a button like that, you can usually stay like on the same button, whether it's a medium kick or a medium punch, or lower or higher on counter hit. But if it's not counter hit, I believe you can only stay within that same attack. I don't know. I've only had the game as long as you guys, but I'm like, don't quote me on anything, but I do know what I am talking about is like medium punch, quarter circle forward run. Oh my god, I keep messing it up. Quarter circle forward run. I'm doing EX command grab, by the way, in the air. See what I mean? If I want to combine the level 3 after that, I have options. That all started, the point of what I'm trying to say is that all started off a crouching light kick, which you are most certainly going to land at the highest level. Do not think not. And also with Kimberly, I highly recommend practicing those overhead combos. Practice those overhead combos. Because at the highest level, believe me, I know it seems like the startup is very long, but after that second hit, so like you can't, I believe you can only crouch jab after that, or if I'm not mistaken, but no, wait. Yeah, you can crouch jab after that. If I have a level 3 super and the game's on the line, I'm gonna do overhead back hard kick to activate the overhead, and then do crouching light punch into quarter circle forward light punch. That way you don't have to do the super meter. You don't have to do the super right away, because I could do that as well, but you can go right into super so it does more damage. You can super right off the crouching jab if you want, but honestly, for a beginner player, I don't recommend them going for that. So, in my opinion, you know, one of the trials is standing hard kick, crouching light punch, and then hard kick, anti-air. Whatever the hell that is. Okay? Sampukang or whatever. Let's say, for example, if you're in the corner, okay, what was I gonna say? Yeah. Okay, so, that's my best. The reason why I say that is because when you start hitting your opponent with a lot of crouching light kick, they're eventually gonna adapt and they're gonna start blocking low. And that's why I say you have to. Believe me, I've even caught my opponents during a drive rush with Kimberly. Like if I land the standing hard punch, even though I just recommend you doing a combo, like if I feel like I need like another additional, like I guess I don't know if you, I guess I wouldn't really call it a reset, but like I said, I would just recommend finishing combos, but you have to learn it. It's a necessity at the highest level. Those combos right there are necessities at the highest level. Being able to do crouching light kick, crouching jab into the reason I recommend doing, you know, you can do it the third strike style and go right into it. And honestly, I know a lot of people might disagree with me, but as a Kimberly player, I think saving all your level 1 super, I've been teaching that to other Kimberly players on TikTok, is the level 1 super with Kimberly is her, as far as I know, her only invincible reversal. So what I mean by that is if your opponent tries to pressure you with standing jab, crouching light kick, it'll counter hit everything, basically. The downside to it is that the input for it is very difficult to do. So if your opponent is already pressuring you on defense, you don't want to try to mash a super in between that. You know what I'm saying? Because there's no telling what pattern of jabs or they might be doing in that particular situation. If they just throw, if they jump, like let's say for example, if they jump kick you, you block them, and you do you know, that's the power of, you know, that's the power of the jab. But you should be doing that combo over and over again to the point where when you're practicing combos, if you're giving up after the 10th try, 20th try, you're not a real fighting game fan. If you're a real fighting game fan, you'll never stop. You'll never stop. So until you perfect it, you should be practicing it. You know what I'm saying? Right there, I'm hypocritical right there. I'm not even mashing jab in that situation. I just know the timing of the jab so well. And it's so much easier to land a crouching jab into something like that. But like, if you have a level 3 and the game's on the line, you know, obviously if you want more damage and you don't have a level 3 yet, then in my opinion, I recommend going for the trial combo. Okay, the crouching jab into the hard kicks, spin kick, anti-air, right? Which also, by the way, does stop drive rushes from far away. Like if you know for a fact they've committed to a drive rush, that hard kick, spin kick, believe it or not, has such a diagonal angle, like the way it travels upward, it actually still hits people on the grounds. And I've caught plenty of players trying to drive rush me with that. I don't honestly recommend it because the slow startup, but I mean, it is something to consider. I mean, you should always know all your options. You know, the reason why I think Kimberly is also so good is that she can deal with projectiles very well. So in other words, she kind of, in a lot of ways, shuts down Ryu and Akuma and Guile and a lot of the best players in the game because of that. And let me explain to you why. Like, I would say like maybe, I would say this is maybe like mid-screen. If they try to drive rush you, holding down and forward plus medium kick at the same time. So basically, down tilt towards, like for those people that play Smash, and medium kick. You know what I'm saying? I don't play Smash. I don't really like the design of the game, to be honest. I think there's too much running around. And I play fighting games to fight. Like, I don't play fighting games to run away from my opponent for 3.5 minutes. And I think the character models are too small. Don't get me wrong. Like, I love Nintendo. I think their best fighting game is to this very day is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, or Punch-Out in general. I thought the Wii version of Punch-Out, even though I'd never played it, I still saw it, was phenomenal. And it's a shame that they still have not released that on the Switch in any way, shape, or form. And you know, that's in my opinion, that's like so shameful for Nintendo, like one of the largest corporations in the world that has billions of dollars, to not re-release the greatest fighting game of all time, which in my opinion is Mike Tyson's Punch-Out to this very day. All right, so crouching, holding down and forward at the same time. So basically, you're holding towards your opponent but downward, so like forward and down, and medium kick. That stops drive rush entirely. If you do it early enough, that stops drive rush. You don't get anything else out of it, so don't try to jab your opponent or anything like that, because after they recover from hit stun, they can they can reversal you, super you, anything like that. So just get your pressure, get your hit, get your counter hit. Correct me if I'm wrong on that. I'm almost positive on drive rush you only get counter hit. You don't get any combo after that. You know what I'm saying? The reason I don't like using like medium kick and for drive rush is because it's so slow, and if you even mistime that, they're gonna counter hit the hell out of you. But the purpose of this video was not to be long in any way, shape, or form. I just started getting into it, but you know, I have been playing more Ken than Kimberly recently, and I'm having way more fun with Ken. But Kimberly is, if you like like real fancy combos and really showing off, you know, that your opponent can't really do nothing, then I think Kimberly's the character for you. Because the reason I say that is because she has setups that you have to respect, even though they look unsafe on block, which normally they are. Like for example, crouching medium kick, crouching medium kick, or crouching medium punch, or standing medium punch, into quarter circle forward run into medium kick. If you put a spray can, like let's say, the reason why I like Rekka over everything else is because that's a hard knockdown. I have a spray can right there. I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you should always get the damage. You know, you can always get the damage. You can't always get the damage though. At the highest level, it's not easy to get the damage. At the highest level, it's not easy to get the damage. So, you know, these situations come in handy. Like You can't just throw a spray can with Kimberly. As much as I would love to, spray can, even just loading up your spray can anywhere on the screen, unless your opponent is on the ground, is unsafe. If you're playing a Ryu player and they have a Denjin Hadouken or full screen, that'll counter hit you. So in other words, what I'm trying to tell you is, I believe it's even unsafe after the. I believe that is another setup. I've never even thought of that one, but standing hard punch into spray can, I believe is safe on block, because if they try to reversal you after that, you can block them. But if they do nothing, you can pressure them, because they would have to be kind of silly to try to even go for something at that point, because that's guaranteed counter hit. And the Kimberly player is going to get way more damage because of it. So in the corner, this only works in the corner. You can get the spray can set up, but because of the fact that they can kind of walk backwards, I believe, hold up. I could be wrong about that. I don't like wasting spray cans unless I'm in the corner with Kimberly. In my opinion, wait, I'm wrong about that. Unless you land a drive meter air command grab with Kimberly, or air grab, or only the drive meter. I believe the regular air grab cannot set up the spray can. Let me see. See? They're up before you can actually throw one. I'm trying to do the EX spray can down EX. I wish you could get a third spray can if you use, but it maxes out at 3 only if you waste the meter to do it. So like if I load up my spray cans, let's say I start off the match with 2. I do a hard knockdown on my opponent. I do the the drive meter spray can reload. I should get a third can, in my opinion. In my opinion, I'm not saying they have to do it. They don't have to listen to me. I'm just saying, as a Kimberly fan, I believe she deserves a third can, especially if she's wasting meter. And only if she's wasting meter can she ever get 3. Because I feel like if a player's good enough to go, no, I don't want to damage my opponent. I want to add another spray can. I'm skipping damage my opponent. That's a scary player mentality right there. I'm more terrified of a player that lets me off the hook of a combo just so he can reload the spray can. I'm shaking in my boots now. I'm like, yo, this dude could have hit me and he didn't. No, he let me get back up and said, no, I want some more. I'm like, oh, snap. Like, yo, he really wants some more. I'm like, no, I'd rather stay on the ground. All right, so the point I'm trying to make is that with Kimberly particularly, my counter hit combo was always, like, let's say, for example, they go for a dragon punch. I always did standing hard punch into quarter circle back punch. That's going to activate the anti-projectile special move that if Ryu's throwing a projectile, if you time it early enough, that'll go past Denjin, that'll go past everything. If you time it good enough, it'll go right through Guile. I don't recommend, there's a few characters that I don't recommend doing it against unless you perfectly do it. And that's like, I feel like DJ, Guile, and Chun-Li are probably, and maybe Terry are probably the hardest characters to counter hit with the anti-projectile special move. I usually go crouching medium kick, but you have to be careful because the high-level players, when they see you going for your frame trap, they know that your frame trap cannot be special move canceled or super canceled. So because of that, even though I don't recommend that, the only way that works is if they throw out like a drive impact before you even basically, like, if you already committed to the crouching medium kick and they try to drive impact you, you're gonna block it. But if you're, obvious and coming from a mile away and you're constantly abusing that crouching medium kick frame trap, you're going to get exploited with stuff like that. So in my opinion, like, you know, if you counter it, if you hit your opponent, you should always combo them. If your opponent is playing really defensive, that's when I feel like I would exploit more frame traps over and over again, as much as you can. Like, if you're playing a real defensive player like me, you have to frame trap him. You have to set traps. You have to. It's the only way. You have to grab them. You have to grab them. Do not feel bad. It's part of the game. When you play online, it's harder to break out the grab, but it's part of the game. Do not feel bad. And the reason I say that is because the reason I like to go for in the corner only is the only time I'll ever waste a spray can with Kimberly. If you're wasting your... No, I'm wrong about that. I keep repeating it. And the drive meter air grab. That's the only other time I'll do it. So if I do Rekka, enhanced air grab, he has to respect that. That's an overhead. The reason I say they have to wake up parry is because the jump kick is an overhead. The spray can is a low attack. He can't block both. It's impossible for a human to block both. He'll never know if I'm going to go for jumping light kick, which crosses up, or jumping medium kick, which crosses up, which are the only two options you should be using in this situation for the unblockable. I mean, it's working for me. It's an amazing pressure tactic. I highly recommend it. There's other options that are not necessarily unblockables, but I feel like you could almost consider them respectables, like where it's like you have to respect that it's there, so your options are limited. You can't throw out a medium punch. You know, it's harder to throw out a medium punch or a hard kick in that situation, which you shouldn't because he's gonna be close range. But the point I'm trying to make is that Rekka, I always do medium punch. 1, 2, 3. So after he gets up, because the spray can is there, I'm gonna wait a brief moment. To make sure that he has not committed to a dragon punch, an anti-air, a flash kick, anything that is like an invincible reversal. Every character has it in the game. Some are better than others, in my opinion. Like, for example, in my opinion, Zangief's level 1 super, in my opinion, is his kind of invincible reversal against pressure. Not against pressure, but against players that like to strike. You know, there's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? I don't play much Zangief, but I know primarily my tactic for Zangief was almost certainly 100% jumping medium kick, because it almost hit like a dive kick. And then I don't recommend Zangief at all. I'm sorry. I don't know how Snake Eyes did it. But I still think he's the worst character in the game unless there's modern controls activated. If modern controls are allowed, I say he's the best character in the game. Why? Because it's not humanly possible to do that. So because of that advantage, yeah, now that character is very good. Hell yeah, that character's good if I can just press 2 buttons and activate a super that's automatically going to catch my opponent from backdashing. Don't ever forget that. Just because I backdash your command grab, you know, you should be thinking, if he tries to backdash me, let me hit him with my level 1 super with Mana. You should be thinking and adapting at that level. Oh, he keeps on backdashing me. I can't strike him. He gets hit out of the air. No. If I backdash before I recover, you can hit me with a level 1. You can hit me with a level 1 there with Mana. You can hit me with a level 1 probably with Zangief. If you do it fast enough. You're taking too long, my brother. You're taking too long. All right, so we're gonna do this is the I'm just explaining to you the combo that I personally do. This is anywhere on the screen with Kimberly. Now, for example, if it's an anti-projectile starter, like for example Akuma, Ryu, those kind of high tier characters, you can do it to all of them. But in my opinion, make sure you're on point, particularly against Guile, Chun-Li, DJ, and a lot of times, believe it or not, they like to drive rush pressure you. And believe it or not, that's Kimberly's biggest weakness. And that's why I recommend, instead of saving those level 3 supers, you save those level 1 supers, which at least will probably deter your opponent from pressuring you outrageously all the time. Like crouching light kick, crouching light kick, crouching light kick, crouching jab, drive rush, standing jab, grab you, a mix up or a variation of any of that. But when you have that level 1 super, believe it or not, it does go through even jab and everything. Believe me, I've done it. I've counter hit everything with that. So the reason I say that, I know it does not do nearly as much damage as a level 3. It does not give you the buffs that the level 3 has. But guess what? It gives you buffs that the level 3 will never have. Even though it's an invincible reversal, you can only use it once, usually per match. Okay? You can only use it once per match. In fact, I believe I'm the only Kimberly player that ever used a level 3 to win round 1. To finish a round 1. Okay? So if there's anyone you should be listening to about Street Fighter or fighting games, it is me. You know what I'm saying? No doubt. I'm trying to help you guys out. I'm not trying to misguide you guys on the internet and tell you things that are lies so that when you try to apply them in the real world, you get counter hit and you lose your entire health bar. Because that's what's going to happen when you listen to some of the other guys. I'm trying to guide you in the right direction, my brother. You know what I'm saying? I'm like the real life Oro of Street Fighter. There's been nobody good enough to beat me yet. I gotta train you guys. I gotta teach you guys in hopes that my apprentice or my protege, whatever you want to call it, my disciple, will finally have what it takes to beat me. Because I'm tired of winning. I'm legitimately tired of winning. Okay, so in my opinion, there's a lot of ways you could combo with Kimberly, but I'm gonna explain to you the most important ones. You're probably playing a zoner that's trying to keep you out. So make sure you master that. That freestyle move right there, if you do it early enough in the projectile animation, will get there on time and will counter hit Ryu, Akuma, Guile, all of them. Believe me, I know, I've done it. Now, what happens when you play against a Guile that goes, okay, I'm not gonna throw out, dumb projectiles anymore because I don't want to get counter hit. Okay? The reason I said, hold up, there's a few more options. At this range, around mid-range, that little slide right there that she has, that also goes under projectiles. Like around this range, I think it goes about as far as like right around here. If I'm not mistaken, maybe as far as like right, no, I feel like that's too far. No, that's still hit. Okay, so a lot of people consider this to be the mid-range. Mid-range is like around here, I believe. Like that medium kick range. I believe what they call mid-range is usually that medium kick range where I can catch him with that. Which a lot of times, most certainly, if you're within that crouching light kick range, crouching light punch range, and even though I feel like you have to be pretty fast with it, you can counter hit a missed jab with that standing medium kick. And that standing medium kick will go into everything if you do it fast enough. Always keep in mind that you should be trying to go as fast as you possibly can, just like if you was throwing real punches in real life. Like, you're not going to be like, jab here, right hand here. No, you're going to be like, jab, right, left. You know what I mean? Picture that when you're doing your combos. Picture that energy flowing through your hands and, like, making sure that you really activating the button, you know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is this. You know what I'm saying? The point I'm trying to make is this. If they're relying on projectiles, this is probably the best Kimberly tutorial that you'll ever hear. Okay? If they're relying heavily on projectiles, even full screen, I can slide under their projectile. With the exception, I believe, of Sagat's Sagat's low projectile, which is quarter circle forward kick. I'm not 100% certain about that. I believe that does counter hit Kimberly. I'm not 100% certain of that one. She might be able to slide under. I think she does not though. But it'll go under the high one for sure. And counter hit full screen. That's why I'm telling you, this is your full screen option. Your full screen option is quarter circle forward kick. That's gonna have your character start running. But before she gets to your opponent, you have to press medium kick. Medium kick is the slide. That's gonna counter hit your opponent full screen projectile. Mid screen, like around here, it's gonna be press down and forward at the same time towards your opponent. Hold both of those directions down and press medium kick. So it's similar to the slide, but now you don't have to do the quarter circle forward motion to get it to activate. I guess that was maybe a easy way for a developer to get 2 options out of 1 animation, which shows to me that they were very resourceful, which I really appreciate, by the way, because I'm a longtime fan. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to sound like a hater. I love Street Fighter, man. Any man that says that they don't like fighting games is not a man to me. Was gonna say, okay, that's your mid-range option right there. You know what I'm saying? Quarter circle forward. I feel like you could almost be 75% screen. So don't sleep on it. You don't want to be like right here, anti-projectile. You want to be like around here where they think it's safe to throw a projectile. And you always want to stay at that reactable, safe range. Now, if you see your opponent is adapting and they're not throwing projectiles anymore, guess what? Even better. Now I could do, if they block that medium kick, now you could utilize that frame trap option that she has, which is her standing hard kick on block. If it lands, you're gonna want a combo. Don't be like, oh, I landed an attack, let me frame trap now. No, you landed an attack, finish your combo. You landed your attack, set up a new situation, but make it something useful that's gonna benefit you as a player. Like when you see Ryu players do a hard knockdown, what is almost 100% of the time, what do you see the best Ryu players doing after they do a sidestep kick, quarter circle forward kick? What do? Down, down punch. Why? Why does a Ryu player do that? Because now his projectile hits more, it's better, it's faster, it does more damage. Now you can't parry it as easy. These are the reasons why you see the players doing it over and over and over again. It's not that they want to be cheap. It's that it's the smart thing to do. So that's what's really happening at the highest level. A bunch of intelligent players are doing the most intelligent stuff to try to get you to either mess up or almost mess up. It's one or the other. Okay? Okay, so that slide, that not only does it stop, the reason I say that slide is very important is because it does stop drive rush. So now you're stopping their drive rush and you're stopping their projectile and you're keeping them out with the you get what I'm saying? You're keeping them out. You get what I'm saying? So those are that's my tip. That's my Kimberly tips on players that like to zone you and keep you out. Okay? Those are my tips. Now, the reason I say that level 1, that comes in handy for the high level player that's going to adapt and not be a scrub anymore and stop throwing projectiles. And now he's trying to open up your defense by frame trapping you, which is probably Kimberly's biggest weakness. Until you realize, wait a second, I've been saving my level 1 supers. Those are invincible reversals that I can use if the situation is right. Obviously, if you have a level 3 and you're going to, and you could possibly win the rounds or win the match, do it. If you could win the match, do it. If you could win the round, don't do it. Because winning a round does not guarantee you winning a match. But having those level 1 supers there on stock that could stop standing jab, crouching leg kick, you know, probably a little bit harder to do at the highest level, but it's still an option. Okay? It's still an option. And as far as I know, oh yeah, full screen, she could also do this, which I like to combine. If I feel like I did not get there in time, but my opponent still kind of has to deal with what I'm about to throw at them, then I'll do the crouching medium kick frame trap after this. And that's the only time I'll do it, is if I feel that I obviously did not get there in time, but somehow I made it. Because you could avoid the projectile and still get counter hit. Do not think that. Like, if you did it right, you will counter hit them. And in my opinion, the standing medium kick is probably the best option, because let's say you mistime that and they try to drive impact you. You could drive impact the standing medium kick, whereas you cannot drive impact the crouching medium kick. And if you miss time, which is easy to happen, if you think that you could always get that crouching medium kick, that's not a guarantee, because more times than not, when your opponent sees you already committing to a crouching medium kick or a frame trap, they're already doing the drive impact. The reason being is because you can no longer do anything about it. You've already 100% as a player committed to doing a move that cannot be special move or super canceled. So you can't do a special move out of it unless it actually hits your opponent. Look, the point I'm trying to make is this. If it counter hits your opponent, then you can combo it. Or if it hits your opponent, don't call me on it. I'm trying to rush it real quick as fast as I can, but that's what I personally like to do. I like to do the standing medium kick, because especially if I have drive impact available, because now they can't drive impact me. Now after doing that a few times with the standing medium kick, and they see that you're not messing around and you're drive impacting back, now they're going to start respecting the fact when you do that. Now you can go for a frame trap. You know what I'm saying? And the ones that I've personally noticed, even though a lot of people mention the same ones, I know a lot of people like to say, oh, you can waste meter by doing standing hard punch or crouching hard punch into EX run. I mean, that one right there. So like standing hard punch is an EX run, so that's 2 kick buttons. And then after that, you just jab. That's a legitimate frame trap. I don't know why they made that a frame trap off of standing hard punch, and believe me, I've gotten caught by that. Don't know why they made that a frame trap at all. In my opinion, off of a standing hard, you should have to be right. I think you should have to be right off of standing hard. So, all right, so that's my only recommend. That's my like little nonsense tutorial. That's what I like to do. Other than like I said, other than the unblockable I was explaining, that was the whole purpose of this video anyway. So like, I do it off a standing hard punch record, or the medium punch. The medium punch record will get you there and allow you to do the unblockable setup, which you're probably more likely to do anyway. But then you have to waste 2 meter to get that same setup. So, and you're going to exhaust faster. And I don't recommend that. You know what I'm saying? Even though it is possible, like if the game was on the line, you can waste the second meter, but you don't really have to. They have to respect that spray can. Because the only thing they can really do, they can invincible reversal you. If you time it right, they cannot grab you. So in other words, they kind of have to block you. But you know what I'm saying? Like see, the reason, once the spray can's out, your opponent becomes afraid to do anything. So that's where like they have these setups where it's with Kimberly. I don't honestly like, I've used this setup before, but I honestly don't like it. It's like if your opponent is playing defense on the spray can and they don't do anything and they're just trying to break your grab, Throw the spray can. Hold up. Throw the... Alright, so like basically this spray can setup only works off of the medium punch and hard punch as far as I know. The spray can that you want to use is either medium punch or hard punch because it gives you enough time. If you throw the hard punch, it gives you a little bit more time. So you could do like different setups after that because it gives you more time. So medium punch into medium kick slide. If you see that they're doing nothing and you do medium punch, even though at close range I don't recommend ever using medium punch, but if you see that, if you feel that you're at a range where you could maybe do medium punch slide and the spray can goes off, that's safe on block. And you could do another pressure string after that. Not even a pressure string, but you can pressure your opponent again with crouching light kick. And the second pressure of that might open up your opponent's defense instead of the first one. But notice that could also lead, you know, it's all situational, you know what I'm saying? You can get an EX, you can get a free spray can. A lot of Kimberly play. I never see Kimberly players do the spray can setup off the medium punch Rekka. But like I said, I only like to do that in the corner. See, the medium punch one does not let you set up the unblockable. I knew I was right. So it's only off the hard punch. But you have to do the air grab after. So it's hard punch Rekka. It automatically does the Rekka for you. Then on the final hit, which is the third hit. No, the second hit. The second hit of the Rekka. The Rekka is the quarter circle forward hard punch. Quarter circle forward hard punch is what I'm referring to when I say Rekka. Any move that kind of behaves like that in the Street Fighter universe is considered a Rekka. Like Fei Long, for example, has a Rekka where it kind of, back then you had to press hard punch over and over again. You know what I'm saying? You had to press the hard punch at the right time to keep the combo going. It's not like that anymore. You just press quarter circle hard punch one time and it does it for you, which I actually like better. I'm glad they did that. In fact, I'm pretty sure they did that because of me, but all right, so what was I gonna say? Hard punch, EX air grab after the super jump. I don't know if they still call it super jump anymore. I'm treating it as if it's a super jump. So after the quarter circle forward hard punch, which you could usually land, I like to do hard punch into it. But like if I counter hit my opponent, I'll do hard punch, quarter circle forward, freestyle, special move, hard punch again, hard punch again, hard punch again. And then basically I can do whatever I want after that. And it's a good corner carry, so it allows you to bring out the best of Kimberly with the spray can setup. You know what I mean? A lot of Kimberly players like to go a lot fancier by adding the medium punch. But you have to remember when you run out of meter, make sure that you're going into that Rekka. So like, you know, I don't know exactly what the max damage is, but I usually get lazy and I'm like hard punch, hard punch, hard punch. I do that with Ken too. I'm like, I don't got time to learn all the intricate combos, man, like that. Like, I feel it does enough damage, and the more hits you add to a combo, the more damage scaling, especially if you want to finish with a level 3 super. So in my opinion, I don't really, you know, unless I feel like I could win the round maybe, but so Rekka, super jump, EX drive meter air grab. I do the medium punch spray can. I'm sure you can do the hard punch spray can. So I'm doing Rekka, super jump, So in other words, what I mean by super jump, a lot of you guys are like, what the hell is super jump? I never did that. I never heard that before. Super jump is when you press down before you press up. So in the Marvel vs. Capcom universe, super jump and a lot of other fighting games that try to be like it, like Guilty Gear, for example, and Dragonball fighterz, basically, to make a long story short, super jump allows you to go way higher in the air and way further towards your opponent if you jump towards them after a super jump. King of Fighters also has super jumping as well, and a lot of different variations of that. The point I'm trying to make is this, that when you super jump towards your opponent, you should always be, in a game like, in my opinion, in a game like Marvel vs. Capcom, if you're going to super jump towards your opponent to try to get close, I would stay air blocking. You know what I'm saying? But the problem is, at the highest level, when people know you're air blocking, they try to air grab you. Because they know that you're coming in to try to pressure them. Or just try to jump at you and try to jab you and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? But you have a lot of options outside of that as well. So like, super jumping towards your opponent is not a bad option in Marvel because there's air blocking. Super jumping in this game only works in Street Fighter. Is different. Third Strike was the only Street Fighter that actually had super jump in it, as far as I know, for every character. Now in this game, I believe only like Sea Viper and Kimberly are the only characters that can super jump cancel something, a special move to keep the combo going. And the reason that's important is because even though I don't recommend using a level 2 with Kimberly, I'd rather save all those level 1s. You know, you could super jump after them, hit them with a medium punch, and cancel into the spin kick, EX, whatever. You know, I like to personally, if I have a spray can, I like to set up the unblockable. I know I should not be teaching this, but that's how confident I am about it. I jump too early, but if you know what I'm saying? I know a lot of the high level players are like, thanks for teaching me that one. All right, EX. So what I'm doing before the Rekka finishes, I'm basically just mashing down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, as fast as I can. So 1, 2, mashing. See? You could jump out of it, but only if it's a super jump. I don't know if they consider regular jump. Let me see, hold up. I think maybe it works off a regular jump. I don't even think it's super jump anymore, but you do have to jump on that final hit. Waste the meter to get the air grab because that's the only way the unblockable is going to work. That was the only purpose of this video because I never see any other Kimberly player besides me doing it. So let me see. EX command grab, medium punch. Now you're guaranteed to get the cross up. You're guaranteed to get the cross up light kick or the medium kick, which does hit high. And then the spray can hits low. So, you know, they can parry to get out of it and only risk taking a grab instead of, or trying to maybe reversal you after that. But, you know, you could always block their invincible reversal after a parry. Like if you go for the jumping light kick or the jumping medium kick and you hear that they perfect parried it, I would like probably block altogether. I believe both of those options might be on safe side. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. That's a very difficult situation to perfect parry because depending on if I do the medium kick or the light kick, the timing is a little bit different, but looks kind of the same. I like the setup. It's worked beautifully for me. But you know, always make sure to get your timing right after that because that's usually where I mess up. I can do the complicated part, but I can't do the easy part after. Okay, see, even if you make a mistake trying to air grab them with the hard punch, at least you get another hard punch in. Those are those weird situations that I think like a lot of intermediate and beginner players just don't know about or don't even think about, is that Like, I'm gonna use Zangief as an example, even though I don't recommend picking him at all. But don't get me wrong, you know, if Zangief has been working out for you, I just feel like when you finally get to that final 5% of high-level Street Fighter players, I don't think it's going to work with Zangief, in my opinion. I'm not saying I have not lost to a Zangief player, but I have been playing entirely online. But, you know, I just feel like Backdash basically shuts down all his best options. So you have to kind of play Zangief like a combo ender kind of guy. And he's not really that good when he's a combo ender kind of guy. He's more like a scare you with the grab tactics kind of guy, you know what I mean? And then counter hit you because of that kind of guy. So you should be fishing for counter hit. If you're playing a grappler, you should be fishing for even backdash as a counter hit. You should not just go, oh my God, the secret's out. Oh my God, no. You can still hit him with a level 1 super with a not. You can still hit him with a level 1 super on positive with. If you do it fast enough, yes. Backdash is not safe on safe. It's safe by the time it recovers, but it still has a startup animation and a recovery animation. It might be fast as hell in comparison. You know what I mean? Maybe a little bit slower than a forward dash. Break hand. Cross up. I keep messing the second air grab, but you can get another unblockable setup after that, by the way. So you can do basically, I believe, since she can only throw 2 spray cans within 1 combo, it's actually not really a combo. It's more like a kind of like a, it's just kind of a pressure situation unblockable. As far as I know, like I said, it works for me plenty of times. I know for a fact that it will make Dragon Punch and all that miss. So they have to block it, but they can perfect parry it. That's the only downside to it. But if you see that they're activating parry, guess what? You just got a free grab. So is it worth it to use the unblockable setup if at the very least, at the highest level, you'll probably most certainly get a grab, or you'll probably try to get a brave defensive player like me that tries to legitimately block all your attempts, which in my opinion, I don't really recommend, because if you get hit with the overhead, that could lead to a level 3 and win the match. If you get hit with the crush and light kick, guess what? That could also lead to a level 3 that could win the match. So that's why a lot of players just go, nah, I don't want to risk all that. I'll just try to parry it now and he'll grab me. Worst case scenario, at the very least, you can get a grab, I feel like, at the highest level, if they know about the setup. Because if they know about the setup, they're going to try to parry you. But you'll know that they're trying to parry you because while you're jumping in the air, you're going to see them do it. So now you can get a free grab. Okay, the unblockable only led to a free grab, but guess what? If the game was on the line and all you needed was a grab, guess what? You basically won the match. So don't disregard any particular scenario or situation. You know what I'm saying? You should master all of them. You know what I mean? It's not as difficult as people make it out to be. I know it's just a game, but you know, people are playing for big money right now. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm not going to deny that. You know what I mean? You know, contrary to popular belief, I'm happy Idon won, you know, hundreds of thousands of dollars playing Street Fighter. You know, the more I think about it, the more happy I should be about it. You know what I'm saying? And I actually am. You know what I'm saying? But I still think I'm a better player is what I meant to say. Like, I'm not mad that he won. I still believe with all my heart that I'm better than everybody. It's not just Idon. It's everybody. It's Meta RD. It's Smug. It's Justin Wong. It's Alex Valle. I think I'm better than all of them. You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about I'm a player that don't even try to jab and grab my way to victory 100% of the time. You know what I'm saying? And I spanked people without an invincible reversal. With Kimberly, I spanked them. I spanked the high tier characters in this game without an invincible reversal, besides the level 3. Because almost entirely up until this point, I've been wasting all the level 3. I'm wrong about that. Because if I waste my level 3 to win a round 2, guess what? I start round 3 with nothing. But if I win a round in round 2 with Kimberly with level 1 super, you know what I'm saying? Guess what? I still have 2 more. And they're both invincible reversals, you know what I'm saying? They're harder to do than, for example, flash kick with Guile, which in my opinion is probably the most beginner friendly invincible reversal in the entire game. There's no doubt about it. Even though I still think DJ might be the better character overall, because he's better on rushdown than Guile is, in my opinion. But I'll leave it at that. So I'm just gonna explain it. You know, I was just explaining to anyone that plays this character. You know, it's unfortunate that no one really pays attention to what I'm saying, but you know, so basically, like I said, counter hit is different. You don't want to do standing hard punch into the quarter circle freestyle unless it's a counter hit. If you do it, you'll, believe it or not, I believe even on regular hit, she'll recover in time and you can just block. And believe it or not, people will try to invincible reversal you in that situation. Like, especially on block, I would never do it. But believe it or not, at the highest level, I've caught people very good with that. So I know it sounds stupid because the move has so much startup and like, oh my God, you see it coming from a mile away. Why would you ever do that on block? Guess what? I've won matches because of stuff like that though. I don't recommend making it the focal point of your entire game plan, playing reckless as hell, but sometimes throwing out moves like that sometimes gets your opponent to make mistakes, you know what I'm saying? Because in their opinion and in their heart, they see the move coming from a mile away. You know what I'm saying? They see the move coming from a mile away, but if I hit you first on hit, even though that sounds stupid, I can just go for grab after that. So if I hit you and I do quarter circle, you can't really you can't reversal me because I could block it. If you try to reversal me, I could block it. If you don't do anything, I could grab you. You know, I don't recommend, like I said, if you're going to do a combo, do a combo. If I land hard punch, I'm going Rekka. If I'm in the corner, I'm doing the fancy stuff. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing the fancy stuff if I'm in the corner with Kimberly, okay? The drive meter air grab, which, you know, the reason why that's so effective, the reason why I say I would recommend for every Kimberly player to save the spray can for the corner is because I feel like besides the drive meter air grab that I mentioned earlier, that's the only other exception. You only get 2. So that unblockable with the drive meter air grab, that works anywhere on the screen. But that's only because you're wasting meter to make that situation a reality. Other than that, personally, I like to save my spray cans for the corner because now they have to deal with it. Now they can't backdash and they can't avoid it. They can't walk back fast, quickly away from it. They can't do none of that. Okay? And depending on what kind of player you're playing against, your possibilities, you know, have to change. You know what I'm saying? If you're playing with a player, you're playing against a player that's prone to do invincible reversals all the time, and they don't respect nothing you're doing. Well, then you're gonna have to adapt. You know what I'm saying? You're gonna have to wait for them to either make a mistake or force them to make a mistake. So, hard punch Rekka, medium punch spray can, or hard punch spray can, and then crouch it. If you see that they have not commit to doing an invincible reversal like a level 3 super or a flash kick with Guile or a dragon punch with Ryu, those are all probably some of my, or Ken's dragon punch, in my opinion, probably the best invincible reversal in the entire game because it hits 3 times on the regular. Even though the regular one is better against drive impact for everything else, the enhanced version, the drive meter version of Ken's uppercut, is very good. Probably even better than Ryu, and it always has been. Ever since, you know, they started to really differentiate the two characters. I felt like earlier on there was really no big difference between Ryu and Ken, besides one being white and one being Japanese. Just like in real life. Like, we're all human and it doesn't really matter what you are, right? Like, you could be mixed, you could be Japanese, white, black, don't matter. We're all human and we all deserve a level of respect, and there's no doubt about it. You know what I'm saying? Male, female, don't matter. Okay, so the point I'm trying to make is that there's a lot of setups you could do after this. You know what I'm saying? Hard punch, medium punch, or hard punch spray can. I'm sorry that I keep repeating it, but if I've repeated myself 42 times, I apologize. But I just want to, you know, like I said, unless you're gonna do the unblockable setup that uses the air grab meter, the metered air grab that you could do anywhere on the screen. The only time I don't use that metered air grab is if I feel I'm already like close to the wall where I can't jump behind my opponent's defense anymore. Then I'll just probably finish a combo instead. Like, I won't even waste the meter. Like, if I see that I'm starting to do a combo, I'm already at the wall. You know what I'm saying? If I'm already at the wall and I see that I popped up my opponent with the Rekka, I'm throwing spray can if I have it. I'm throwing spray can if I have it. Medium punch and hard punch are your best options because they last long enough to give your opponent a sense of pressure that has to be respected. So in other words, depending on which, if you throw out the hard punch spray can, you could get a little bit fancier with the pressure. You could be like one, five. You could do, even if your opponent blocks it, is what I'm saying. If you see they have not done any invincible reversal and the spray can is there, active, waiting to pop, okay? You're going to want to do crouching light kick. You can do any variation after that, crouching light kick, and then even if they block it, the reason I say that, it looks stupid because normally I'm saying land your combos. But in this particular situation, because of the spray can, now they're gonna get an additional opportunity. Because the spray can is gonna give them that additional opportunity. Even though it looks like he did crouching medium punch slide and you blocked it and the spray can the spray can went off, guess what? He's still safe on block. So if you do a reversal, an invincible reversal or a level 3 suit, anything like that, they're going to be able to block it after that. So now you have to deal with a second wave of attacks after that. So you got to be real careful. You got to be real careful. You know what I'm saying? There's a second wave of attacks after that. So that's usually what I see. Like, I recommend going for the crouching light kick because as far as I know, crouching medium punch, I believe they can jump out of it if especially like, I think the only attacks they cannot jump out of without getting hit out of is like anything higher than a light punch. Like light punch, standing light punch will keep them grounded. They can't jump away from that. Even if they jump away from that, they still have to deal. It's not guaranteed because you can, like, let's say, for example, they mistime the jab and I jump out of it. He hits me out of the air. Now I go back to playing defense again. He can still basically pressure me because by the time, like, it's not a guarantee though. That's one of those situations where it kind of goes back to neutral, but it's still a situation where I personally, as a player, would not commit to doing an invincible reversal like a level 3 super or anything like that unless I knew for a fact that it was going to counter hit my opponent. Like, if I knew he was far enough, he threw a standing jab or a crouching jab at the wrong distance and he kind of missed it, or I would counter hit with something at that moment, something real powerful, you know what I mean? But in this particular situation, you know, most high level players are going to block you or parry you. And if they see, if you have to be careful in those situations with parry, because they can invincible reversal after the parry, and it's actually easier to do. It's easier than doing a true invincible reversal. And in fact, in my opinion, it should do way less damage because of that. And I think that would balance better characters like Ryu and balance better characters like Ken. And, well, Ken is not so super high tier, and I feel like Ken is acceptable, but maybe Akuma, Ryu, Guile, for example, I feel like they can't hide behind that parry wall and just try to invincible reversal you before you grab them and stuff like that. Because that is possible, but only if you hear that perfect parry sound. It sounds like kind of like a ring. It'll be like ding, you know what I mean? When you hear that, block. If you do not hear that, try to grab them. Because they can only do the drive impact reversal. I mean, not the drive impact reversal. They can only do the drive reversal off of the parry. Otherwise, they have to actually rely, which will not be possible at the highest level, because like I said, I'm talking about that particular unblockable setup that uses the air drive meter air grab. That particular, they can, as far as I'm positive that if they do an invincible reversal, it'll miss entirely, and you'll get another counter hit situation. Which, if you don't know, you know, at the highest level, you know, that it's gonna make you win rounds way easier. And you have to capitalize on those counter hit situations. That's my best advice to a beginner player, an intermediate player. Those counter hit situations are probably the only situations, especially if you're gonna win a round, that I recommend going exhaust. Like, I play my Ken super reckless, but that's because I have so much experience. I'll go into exhaust and say, I don't care. I'll allow him. I play a reckless Ken. Do not take my advice on that. But the point I'm trying to make is that I'm just trying to win the round. I'm like so old school with it that like I'm just trying to win the round, and even if that means allowing him to give me full meter again, because when let's say he drive impact me, gets a free combo, I get all my meter back. I'm like, okay, guess what? Now I get to do what I already did to you before. You know, at some point I have options now again. And if we're playing a game where you're waiting to drive impact me and counter hit me, right, based off of that, and I'm playing a game where I'm just completely outplaying you and beating you, I'll probably get to the finish line first, because you're waiting for me to make a mistake, and I'm legitimately trying to shut you down. So while you're sitting there waiting for me to make a mistake, 9 times out of 10 at the highest level, there are no mistakes to be made. When you reach that final 5% of players, in my opinion, that the only players that are in the highest level that honestly are like, that I feel like, okay, if I play against him, it's going to go either way. It's probably like a 5-5 matchup where he could win this or I could win this. But somebody is going to be spectacular, and somebody's probably going to get knocked out at the end, you know, in a spectacular fashion. And that's kind of what we want it to be anyway. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I feel like the high-level players are really doing a big favor to the developers as well. No, don't ever sleep on the high-level players, because the high-level players are like, little by little, they're like creating the meta of the game that becomes the staple of the game, and it becomes what every player bases all their decisions off of. So the more you know about this unblockable setup, the better you're going to be. Because, like, let's say I didn't tell you about this unblockable setup, and then I do it to you in a tournament, like, I just got a free combo right there. I don't go to tournaments. I should, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? I genuinely don't. I should have been going for years, because I know I would have won a lot of tournaments, but, you know what I'm saying? You know, I guess it's maybe just me being too lazy to get the money, but yeah, like I said, hard punch, unblockable setup. They can't do anything to you right there. They can't invincible reversal that. If they invincible reversal that, you'll block it, and then you'll counter hit them again. So it'll work out in your favor. Okay. But that's my best advice. If you see that you're able to do the spray can setup on your opponent, I'm not against switching up the timing of the medium punch one and the hard punch one. In my opinion, most players get caught with the medium punch one, but I feel like even the best high level players get caught with the hard punch one because it gives you even more time to pressure your opponent and even more time to get chip damage on your opponent because they have to deal with it. And I'm pretty sure that spray can does a lot of chip damage if your opponent is exhausted. So, hard punch. And then after that, you do I keep messing it up, but after that, you could do basically anything. You could do, if you're a beginner player, I recommend, if you get the air grab, I recommend maybe doing quarter circle forward light punch or crouching hard punch after that. Maybe quarter circle back hard kick. So like, for example, right, can you hit him with that? Just do something basic like that you know for a fact. There's no way, as long as you do it, it'll actually work. It's not the most damaging thing you could do after an unblockable setup like that. Really, those two combos are not connecting. I'm basically, what I'm doing is, instead of committing, because I normally say finish your combos and get as much damage as you can at the highest level, right? But sometimes at the highest level, your opponent's defense is so hard to crack that you need situations like these to, kind of exist. And I understand why developers kind of do what they do. Like, it does make a lot more sense to me the more I think about it. And believe it or not, I agree more times with their decisions than I disagree with it. Because I know you guys like want to typecast me and be like, oh, he's a hater. No. I agree with like 98% of everything you've done. In fact, I like it way better than Third Strike's combo system, because Third Strike's combo system was hard as hell to do. Crouching medium kick into level 3 super, with Ken is hard as hell to do. It's not the easiest thing to do, universal overhead into Ken's level 3 super, but it's essential at the highest level, so you have to learn it. Because that might be the difference between winning and losing. So once you understand that, you apply that, that's all it is, man. You know what I'm saying? I don't play Third Strike as much anymore, but it is an amazing game. In fact, it's one of my favorites. It's probably my second favorite Street Fighter. I don't know if Street Fighter 5 is my favorite, or Street Fighter 4, or Street Fighter 6. I don't know. But it's one of them. I like Street Fighter 4's combo system probably the best. And I felt like it took the most talent and made the most sense. Logically, I felt like 99% of the time it made the most sense. Like, I felt like it only can really be used as a combo ender, but not always the easiest to counter your opponent when he made a mistake using it. And that's where I feel like Street Fighter 6 is a little bit better at that, even though it's something entirely different. It kind of looks like a focus attack a little bit. But the reason I say that is because even though, like I said, if it's to win the round, hard punch, I would always go hard kick, spin kick after that. I would always go hard kick, spin kick as a beginner player. As a beginner player, I would try to land as much damage as I can. As a beginner player, I recommend that. As an intermediate player, I recommend that. You know what I'm saying? As a high level player that really understands the game and like understands why he's throwing a spray can and how much time he has and really has practiced this scenario over and over and over again, then I recommend, kind of exploiting that. And even though I'm giving up some of my damage on the hard punch Rekka combo, Now my opponent has to deal with it. So I'm kind of trading in some of my damage and exchanging it for new combo potential. And if you guys don't know, the reason why that's good in a fighting game is because if that was all one combo, the damage scaling of the fighting game engine would automatically, the more hits you start doing to your opponent, the less damage that everything starts doing overall. So even though you did a huge big combo with Ryu that ended in a level 3 super, guess what? A lot of that damage from the level 3 super was taken away. That's why I recommend, if you are going to do a level 3 super, let it be a counter hit. Let it be something that you go directly into a level 3, like standing hard punch goes directly into it. Standing hard kick does not. Standing medium kick does. She has a lot of options. A lot of Kimberly players go like, you know, there's always a way to get in on your opponent. That standing medium kick does counter your, I feel like that's the #1 tool maybe at mid-range. Instead of always, I feel like it's even faster than the crouching medium kick frame trap. The standing medium kick. And the best part about the standing medium kick is even if you mistime it and they block it, you can like basically go into a frame trap after that. So that's why I always recommend going, you can't go frame trap into frame trap, but you can go standing medium kick, which has a lot of range, into frame trap, and now your opponent has to really deal with pressure. So like if he presses a button, if I know he likes to press buttons, I'm gonna counter hit him. You know, I'm gonna counter hit him with like either standing medium punch, crouching medium punch. I believe basically everything works that's medium punch, except for maybe standing hard kick. Wait, no, actually I think that I'm not 100% positive of the standing hard kick and I believe it has to be like either medium punch. I've landed hard punch on my opponent, but I don't know how true that actually is. But I just know that I've counter hit plenty of opponents doing so, because and I'm happy that that's actually an option, because I feel like it's a necessity at the highest levels to have that option available, that hard punch available after a frame trap, believe it or not. The only ones that I don't agree with is like, for example, even though I use it myself, like back hard kick with Ryu that hits like twice. Is the second hit of that still an overhead? Because I remember that being, I believe that for Akuma and Ryu, I believe that was an overhead, right? If I'm not mistaken, maybe not on Ryu, but on Akuma. I was under the impression that the second hit, I believe that hit as an overhead for Ryu too. Did it not? The close standing back hard kick? I always thought that hit as an overhead in third strike. I could be wrong about that. I know the second hit of Akuma's overhead does hit as an overhead, and that's been that way since third strike. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, like I said, that's the main reason I say it's okay. Like I said, I know I say things and I sound hypocritical by going, oh, you know, don't finish your combo, don't get the damage, and then set your opponent up for the next situation. The reason why that's effective is at the highest level, now he has to deal with my overhead, he has to deal with my grab, he has to deal with my crouching light kicks, pressure, and any of those situations can lead to a combo that's high damaging. You know what I mean? I can do crouching light kick, crouching jab, spin kick. That ultimately does the better damage. But the reason I like to do, even though it does more damage, the reason I like to do crouching light kick, crouching jab with Kimberly is because it keeps me within that grab range. So now they have to worry about my grab basically all the time. They have to worry about my crouching light kick pressure that could basically lead into any combo in the game. Well, really only because of counter hit. Counter hit jab. I believe crouching light kick only combos into jab. So if you try to jab after that, it won't be considered a counter hit anymore. And I believe that's for good reason, because crouching light kick comes out faster than crouching jab. And I don't know why this became the new standard, that crouching jab for a lot of beginner and intermediate players. If I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they changed it, but crouching light kick has always been faster than crouching jab. Not by much, but I believe it's like 2 frames faster or something like that, or 3 frames faster, right? The only downside is that it cannot counter hit into anything other than a jab. I don't even know if it causes counter hit. I don't think I've ever counter hit my opponent. I'm positive I probably counter hit my opponent with crouching light kick, but the point I'm trying to make is that if you do crouching light kick, let's say even if I'm not 100% certain if there is a counter hit crouching light kick. I'm pretty sure there is, but don't quote me on that. But the point I'm trying to make is, like, if you counter hit your opponent with a crouching jab, and I think that's the main reason that crouching jab and standing jab became the new crouching light kick up close, even though I don't agree with that, because I feel like crouching light kick up close is the better option. Up close, I'm talking about close range. I'm talking about the opponent's in your face trying to jab and grab you, and I would personally go for crouching light kick. If I saw that he was no longer trying to jab me and he's trying to walk forward, I'll do crouching light kick. But if I see that he likes to shimmy a lot, I'll do crouching medium punch instead, because it's faster than crouching medium kick. If I can catch him with the crouching medium punch, guess what? I can land any combo Kimberly has. The reason I say, why am I saying crouching medium punch and not standing medium punch? Because if he's walking away and you hit him with a standing attack, he's gonna block it no matter what. But if he's walking away and you hit him with a low attack, that's a counter hit. That's not a counter hit, but that's a hit. I don't know if they consider counter hit, but they should. They should, because in my opinion, if he's trying to walk away and I hit him low, in my opinion, that's a counter hit. He tried to get away from me and then I hit him in the foot. As far as I'm concerned, that's a counter hit. That is a counter hit. Okay, back to the subject at hand though. Back to the subject at hand. Like, I don't want to sound like, even though I am, I don't want to sound like the best Street Fighter player that ever lived, even though I am. The point I'm trying to make is that, you know, don't just listen to what I got to say about it and go, oh, he says it's safe on block. No, no, no. I could be lying to you. I'm not, but I could be. And that's the whole point of the story. Is that don't take my word for it. Do your research and make sure you find out. You know what I'm saying? Like, just because I like to play a Reckless Ken doesn't mean in any way, shape, or form that I recommend anyone playing Reckless Ken. In fact, more times than not, I'm playing the most solid Ken game. A lot of people look at me and they're like, oh, no, that's safe. That's unsafe on block. That's unsafe on block. That's unsafe on block. No, no, no. It's unsafe to drive impact if you see it coming from a mile away. But if you don't use the move every 2 seconds, which is the big downside to what I notice is what happens with a lot of beginner players, is that they'll abuse the fact that they know about a frame trap. They'll abuse the fact that they know about a specific thing, and that's all they'll do. But let me tell you, son, even though crouching hard kick is unsafe on block, guess what? It's amazing in the jab and grab game, believe it or not. Like, when you're crouching jab your opponent and then you shimmy them and walk back, I know a lot of people are saying, oh, you should do crouching medium kick instead. I do. But if let's say I'm at a far range where crouching medium kick don't hit and I can still counter hit him off a missed crouching jab, I try to walk forward and bait him to do a crouching jab and stop. So, like, let's say for example, I'm walking in, I'm fighting against an opponent that loves to stand jab me, crouching jab me. I'll stay outside of range, walk forward, walk a little bit, just enough to get him to throw it. Just enough to get him to throw it. By the time he throws it, he's already counter hit. He's already lost it. That's another option that I don't see a lot of Kimberly players do, and it makes it way easier to land that level 3 after I'm talking about if you decide to do the drive meter air grab, which I do highly recommend. Not as an air-to-air, because that's very flaky. It's not a guarantee. Unless you're a robot, it's not a guarantee. So I do not recommend wasting meter, because believe it or not, if you mistime that air grab, they can counter hit you in the air. It leaves you in a way longer recovery state. Maybe not as long as Zangief, but probably just as bad at the highest level. That's why I do not recommend doing it unless it's a combo ender. These are really this is the only difference between the best player that you see. Oh, I can't beat that guy. He's too good. That's the only difference. Believe me when I tell you, it has it has more to do with experience and understanding the feel of the game. A lot of beginner players that started playing Street Fighter recently, they don't understand the feel of the game like I understand the feel of Street Fighter. You take a longtime Street Fighter fan and give them the feel of Street Fighter, and they understand it. They understand when they can act. They understand when they're being put in a trap. They understand when they have to block. They understand all that. They understand when they have to escape the grab. They understand how much time they have to escape the grab. These are the things that are embedded in their DNA structure. There is no secret to the top, and that's the main part of the story. It's like there is no secret. Practice makes everything. Michael Jordan wouldn't have never been able to be as amazing as he was as a basketball player if he did not practice. Just like 50 Cent wouldn't have been the best black African-American rapper of all time if he did not practice. You know what I'm saying? Do I agree with every little detail of his lyrics at all times? You know what I'm saying? Not really, but I still love 50 Cent, and I still play 50 Cent. Just like I still listen to, you know, MOB, Prodigy, you know what I'm saying? HNIC, you know what I'm saying? What was I gonna say? If you guys don't know what HNIC means, that means the head nig in charge. So the #1 boss, you know what I mean? Okay, the point I'm trying to make is this. You know, the less I know, the better. That's my new motto in life. The less I know, the better. All right. Okay. So. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So, like I said, don't sleep on that. Wasting the meter on the air grab after the combo, after the Rekka combo, because it is a true unblockable setup. I never said they can't parry, but guess what? Perfect parry is not easy to do. You know, I'm sure the best high-level players are going to try to perfect parry that medium kick, light kick, but guess what? If you empty jump and do nothing and they try to perfect parry you, guess what? Now you can grab them and they cannot do the parry into the drive the drive reversal. The reason being is because they did not parry anything. So now that option is no longer available. So now you don't have to worry about the drive reversal that happens after a parry, but this is only because you empty jump. Now understand, this is what you have to establish in your head as a player. Am I playing against a player that likes to parry this situation, or am I playing against a brave fighting game individual that believes he can block the mix-up? I personally do not sleep on doing jumping light kick, which has way less block stun than jumping medium kick, even though it's a better cross-up. But I feel the developers did such a good job that even though I don't agree with it, I'm happy it's in the game because I use it. But jumping light kick, in my opinion, should not even be a cross-up. In fact, I think there should be no like jumping light kick with Ryu that, even though I believe it's even on hit, it's not comboable, if I'm not mistaken. Like, I could be wrong about that, but I believe they designed it in a way where it's like if crouching light kick does hit your opponent, unless it's like maybe counter hit, that it will actually, you'll be able to block the following attack after that. Because they still have to land on the ground and actually recover from landing before they can actually do crouching light kick or standing jab or crouching jab, which a lot of high-level players like to do in that, grab and jab and grab moment of Street Fighter. Like, you know, when you're like kind of point blank, close range to your opponent, like right here, like real close, like that's when that whole crouching light kick becomes an issue. That's why you have to be at your best performance to like not allow your opponent on the inside. So that's why you see a lot of Guile players, they're like, of course I'm going to play like this because it's the only way I can keep you out. And if I don't keep you out, you completely wipe your butt with me. And there's nothing I can do about it. Because now I can't throw projectiles, and every one of Guile's attacks, he does have frame traps, he does have a good overhead setup, but in my opinion, unless it's on hit, on block, Guile's overhead setup, I believe is unsafe on the second hit to super and invincible reversal. Am I not? I mean, I've caught plenty of players with that, not only with Laura in Street Fighter V, because they thought that the crouching medium kick into the overhead with Guile was an actually true string, like it is in, let's say, for example, a game like Mortal Kombat, where you actually, and Tekken and Soul Calibur, where you actually have to respect pressure 9 times out of 10, unless there's like, depending on the rage art or something like that. You know, depending on the particular rage art, if I'm not mistaken. Like, for example, Harang is a prime example of a character in Tekken 7, for example, that does not have a rage art that is invincible, and for good reason. I'm happy they did it. You want to know why? Because Harang is good as hell. Harang is the embodiment of Baik and Harang, and they somehow became one phenomenal character, and they were like, no more Baik, even though I thought Baik was way cooler. But as soon as they add Roger Jr. to Tekken 8, I will start playing Tekken 8 on a regular basis again. But I'm waiting for them to add Roger Jr. I don't like the way martial law feels in Tekken 8 anymore. I haven't played it in a long time, but when I was like almost heartbroken when I tried to play martial law in Tekken 8, and I was like, what the hell? I was like, it doesn't even feel the way Tekken 7 felt. Like, Tekken 7 is a masterpiece. It's not just a video game. It's an artistic masterpiece. Several, actually. The point I'm trying to make is that the point I'm trying to make is this. No. Okay. Back to the subject at hand. There's either the zoner that's going to try to keep you out. Those are effective ways to deal with it. Blanca is also another good character. The reason why, you can't drive impact Blanca in the corner. With the exception of, I believe, when they're exhausted. But that's only if you do land the standing hard punch. The standing hard punch when you're exhausted into drive impact is the only true wall splat that you can possibly have, but it only works when your character is completely out of drive meter. Now, the importance of what I'm saying is that if your opponent has you in the corner and they try to do a standing hard punch, and you know for a fact that, let's say, for example, you're low, you don't have enough meter to drive impact them back. A lot of high-level players are including myself. I believe I was like one of the first ones to get away with it. I was like, okay, so I could basically avoid anything, but I believe it's a difficult situation because if I commit to jab, he could invincible reversal me on level 3. So most players don't. So most players most high-level players wait for that moment that the smoke has cleared. They can't possibly do a drive impact anymore. I mean, they can't possibly drive impact anymore. They can't possibly do an invincible reversal anymore. They can't super me, anything like that. They can't do it anymore. It's not humanly possible anymore. That's when you pressure your opponent with with that kind of pressure where they have to respect it. So now you could do, like, for example, even if your opponent blocks, most of them anyway. Like, for example, if I do crouching medium kick, standing medium kick, which I don't recommend. Like, if you have to pressure your opponent with drive rush, make sure you're going to pressure your opponent. Don't be trying to drive rush from down here unless it's a projectile. That's an easy way to avoid. They're going to jump away from you. They're going to neutral jump and try to do like jumping hard kick, or you see the angle of that. If you're trying to drive rush from over there, you're misunderstanding Street Fighter. Unless it's a projectile, you should never drive rush from far away. You should never drive rush from close range, because that's another way to get counter hit. The only time you should ever try to drive rush your opponent is if you know for a fact it's your turn and now you can go. When the green light for you is available, start driving. Don't go, oh, is it my turn? No. Should I do it? Should I not? No, do it. If it's my turn, I throw that crouch standing medium kick, he has to block it. If he does anything else, he's gonna get counter hit. If he gets counter hit, it's gonna lead into even more damage than before. Now he's in a situation like that, all because he got counter hit. Whereas if he just blocked it, guess what? Worst case scenario, if he blocks it, he's gonna block me doing this, or he's gonna block me doing a variation of this. I might stop on the first one, try to grab him. I might stop on the first one, do nothing. Watch if he walks back, I'm gonna hit him again. If he tries to avoid me, I'm gonna hit him again. If he tries to invincible reversal, I'm gonna block him. That's the mentality you have to have. Am I still able to block? If he decides to commit to anything, can I still block it? If you cannot honestly answer that question and say yes, you should not be doing it. The only reason you see me doing Genrai kick, or what is it with Ken? What is it with Ken that he has the one that takes very long to come out, but is safe on block, and it's a frame trap. That's another frame trap that he has. Now you have to understand. You have to understand something. The only time you ever see me doing it is when I truly understand my opponent. If you see me doing Genrai, it's because I truly understand I'm playing against a player that is patient and likes to counter hit me. So what am I doing? I'm setting a trap for him. I know he likes to counter hit me. I'm setting a trap. He falls for the trap. He's getting counter hit. That is the usefulness of some of those moves that you think that are terrible, that take 10 minutes to finally get to their opponent and they block it. Guess what? Those are the best moves in the game. Those moves that look like they're terrible, don't know why the fighting game developers do it. I'm happy they do, but believe it or not, the moves that look the worst are the best. And the moves that look like the best are the worst. Because if you mistime an invincible reversal with Ken or Ryu, you're going to get counter hit. You're going to get hit at the very least. It's a very difficult invincible reversal to do at the highest level. That is the big downside to Ryu, Akuma, Ken, any character like that, Sagat. That is the only weakness and downside to those characters, is that at the highest level, it's very difficult to actually use an invincible reversal to stop pressure. So that's why you see a lot of players rely on projectile zoning instead. And if you are going to do that, if you're doing it anywhere besides full screen or counter hit or a situation where you know your opponent has to block, those are the only opportunities that I would ever, like, let's say, for example, if I was Ryu, that's the only time, if I was playing Ryu or Ken, that I would ever do an EX projectile. If I know for a fact I'm at a reactable range and I'm playing against a Ryu that likes to throw projectiles and try to get me to jump, I'm gonna throw an EX projectile with Ken around maybe this range right here. If I know for a fact he's committed to it, EX projectile will counter him. I personally, as a player, prefer to stay at that reactable range, which I feel like the game developers automatically put you in when you block a projectile. So if you feel you keep blocking a projectile and getting pushed all the way back and it feels like you can never touch Ryu, guess what? That's because you're not using the right option in that situation. You should always jump towards your opponent over a projectile early in the animation. I'm not talking about wait till it's already there, then try to jump. When you play online, you're gonna see a lot of that, where it looks like a player's playing sloppy as hell, getting hit with projectiles. That's because you only see 10% of the information, 40% of the information. When you play offline, you see 100% of the information. You know what I'm saying? So the point I'm trying to make is that I know a lot of people are like, oh, you should only do drive impact on projectile. That's a good option. Guess what? It wastes meter. When you run out of meter, guess what? Now you can't deal with projectiles anymore. You waste all your meter trying to drive impact projectiles. You're not gonna have meter for enhanced special moves, better combos. You're not gonna have meter for none of that. So now you're gonna have to play third strike style, where if you land a crouching medium kick, you have to go directly into a super. There's no crouching medium kick, Hadouken, or whatever it's called. Hadouken, you know what I mean? There's no, now you can't rely on that. Okay? You can't rely on that anymore. Unless it's a level 3, you can't rely on that anymore. So that's another recommendation that I have for beginner players and intermediate players when it comes to Street Fighter is that you know what I'm saying? What was I gonna say? Okay, that's the reason why I preach what I do. I know it's a lot harder because Street Fighter 6 feels like you're glued to the ground. It looks like you're stuck to the ground a lot more than Street Fighter 5 or any other Street Fighter previously. But like I said, if you stay at that reactable range, it is possible to make it over with a jumping attack. And if you are gonna do a jumping attack, obviously if you're in front of your opponent, you're gonna do start it with jumping hard kick. Why do I say that? Because it does the most damage out of all the jumping attacks for the most part. With the exception of obviously an enhanced drive meter air grab with Zangief or something stupid like that you should not be using other than combo ender in the first place. Okay? That's my best advice. You don't have to listen to me, but you should. So the point I'm trying to make is this. That reactable range, a lot of people are wondering, what's that reactable range? It's the range where Ryu's fireball, as fast as as good as he is at zoning, it don't matter. Believe me, you have enough time to make it. If you jump at the right, look, where's Ryu? Where's Let me see how much space I have. You know, I should have kept him in the corner. Hold up. The Akuma music's starting to scare me, boys. All right. Okay. So, let's say, jumping hard kick. I would say anywhere from maybe. I would say I feel like I can make it from about here. I usually judge it by the space behind my character. I usually try to envision if I could fit another character there. If I could fit a second character there, I feel like I'm at the right spot to jump over their projectile and counter hit them. If you're all the way over here, a jumping hard kick is going to be useless. That's why I preach, if you're going to be a zoner and you're still zoning anywhere outside of full, if you're using projectiles besides a combo ender, okay, or guaranteed pressure, which I would never do. I would never do it with Ryu. I would never waste meter with Ryu unless I knew for a fact it was going to lead to a lot of damage. Okay? Like I said, if he has frame traps with the EX meter, obviously that becomes part of your game plan. I don't honestly recommend using meter for those particular situations, but sometimes it does come in handy. I believe Ryu's EX quarter circle punch is safe on block, and but a lot of people misunderstand when they say safe on block. Yeah, if your opponent does not do anything and it gets there, it is safe on block. But before it actually gets there, it is not safe at all. You can still invincible reversal Ryu. You can still level 3 super him for trying gimmicky stuff like that. You can absolutely counter him hard for relying on gimmicks like that. That's why I say, if you are a Ryu player, do not rely on gimmicks, rely on talent. You'll make it further relying on talent than gimmicks. If you play a character like Kimberly that has a gimmicky play style and you can really pressure your opponent with tons of options, my opponent likes to crouch block, he's worried about the spray can, I might do a pressure into a run cancel overhead. I'm talking about this one. I might do it. I might do it. You know why? Why do I say that? Because I could always cancel the run. By the way, if you run with Kimberly, you don't have to commit to run at all. If you press any punch button, it'll stop her from running. But also keep in mind that you should only be doing this on hit. So if you want to create better mix-ups, you don't need meter to do it. I don't understand why all these Kimberly players are trying to frame trap their opponents with the standing hard punch. Yeah, that does work at the highest level. And it is a frame trap. Hey, look, I'm not gonna hate. You know, it is an option. Use it. If it works, use it. You know what I'm saying? If you feel it's effective at that point in time, don't. I'm not giving you the 10 commandments of Street Fighter or fighting game. I'm giving, and oh, you must obey, you know, Cuba law, and everything I say is written in stone, and you must honestly believe all that. No. Listen, practice is the only way to find out for yourself. You know what I'm saying? But the point I'm trying to make is that when it comes to wasting meter, I feel like Kimberly is better using her meter as a combo ender. Because now I'm be able to set up spray cans anywhere on the screen instead of just in the corner. That's why I'm trying to enlighten some of these Kimberly players, whether it be from TikTok or wherever, you know what I'm saying? Trying to help them out because I want them to win. I believe like Kimberly is one of those characters where if you're winning with Kimberly, it's because you're nice. If you're winning with Kimberly and spanking your opponent, it's because you are nice. It's not because you're lucky, it's because you're nice. You know, a lot of her gimmicky stuff has come to an end. You know, that whole run cancel and then like try to get your opponent to avoid it is very easy to avoid now. It's way easier than before. You know what I'm saying? What was I gonna say? I think that's about it though. That's all I really had. Anti-projectile zoning. If they try to rush you, I would save that level 1. In my opinion, I can't guarantee how you're gonna play. Level 3 does more damage. You know. And correct me if I'm wrong, but even though I don't recommend using it, is level 2 super from Kimberly anti-projectile super? Because if it is against a Guile, I think it is an anti-projectile super, if I'm not mistaken, against Guile, but and characters like that. I'm not 100% positive. I have caught Guiles with that. But like I said, you know, I don't know if I would waste all that meter to try to counter hit. I don't know if I agree with wasting a level 2 super. That's a lot of meter to waste on one projectile situation that you probably could have got for free if you just jumped at the right time. Look at that big combo I could get now. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm jumping at the right time. I would say like it's around here. I usually jump from like maybe around here as the farthest. You know what I'm saying? The only difference I did at that combo, instead of just going for the unblockable setup and trying to get a like new combo damage on my opponent, I'm keeping the combo going after the air grab. After the drive meter air grab, it puts them in a juggle state again. You basically add another juggle state to your counter. Like if I don't waste that meter, look, I'm gonna go for air grab. Hold up, I'm gonna go for air grab. Nothing happens. I air grab my opponent, it's back to neutral. It's back to, it could go either way now. That's what back to neutral means. No one has an advantage. No one has a disadvantage. It could go either way now. Depending on who makes the next best move is what people are gonna have to deal with. That's what neutral means. You know what I'm saying? When nothing, absolutely, no one has an advantage or a disadvantage. Okay. So the point I'm trying to make is that that adds more juggles to your opponent. So after that, I'm doing quarter circle forward light kick. Then I'm doing, that activates the run. But now you got to press kick again. That's going to pop them up into the air after the ground bounce. I know a lot of players are saying, look, if you have them in the corner, if you have your opponent in the corner during this situation, then obviously you're going to do the forward hard kick into the up forward medium punch, into the quarter circle forward light punch, into the level 3 super, because you're going to get way more damage that way. But if you're doing the drive meter air grab, you're not going to have the possibility to end with, let me show you. It does not combo the level 3 anymore after that. Look, forward hard kick, forward medium punch. I missed it. Hold up. Let me see. I'll do it in the corner. In the corner is the only way it works. So let me not even waste my time. Standing hard punch, standing hard. EX command grab. Wait, what was I trying to do again? I was trying, not the unblockable. Wait. I was trying to prove. Oh, yeah. Okay. I was trying to prove that because a lot of Kimberly players go, oh no, you're supposed to do forward hard kick into the up forward medium punch, into the quarter circle forward light punch, into the level 3 super, because that guarantees the hit confirm. What you're really doing in that situation is making it easier to do the level 3 at the very end. Because the first quarter circle forward light punch that I do actually counts as the first quarter circle motion of the super as well. So a lot of players get confused and they go, oh, I got to do quarter circle forward light punch, then I got to do another double quarter circle forward light punch to activate the super. No, you just have to do one more. Because the game engine is going to recognize that first one you did, even though it wasn't part of the super motion, it counts as part of the super motion. That's the best way I can explain it to you. So, like, obviously, the best high-level players already know that they could do crouch jab, stand jab, go right into a level 3 and show off. You know what I'm saying? That was 2. I'm talking about 1. 1 is harder, though. What is harder? There it is. Okay? The best high-level players are going to show off. The only reason I was able to do that is because I'm buffering the super motion. Before the crouch jab even comes out and hits, I'm already buffering the super motion. I'm buffering the super motion. You know what I'm saying? Okay, I just want to make sure my mic was on, because that would have been heartbreaking to know that I was trying to help you guys out for this long and like it wasn't even recording. Basically, that's another thing I noticed, that a lot of beginner intermediate players, they confuse that, they overcomplicate it, and that's because no one's really explaining it. But that's the best way I can explain it, is that most super motions are quarter circle forward, quarter circle forward punch or kick, right? To do a super. So now, if you were smart, okay, I'm trying to help you make the best decision. You know, quarter circle forward light punch. Quarter circle forward light punch. The reason, look, I can do quarter circle back hard kick after the quarter. Like I could do jab, and then end it and do the jab. I could do the standing hard kick. I could get more damage now, right? I could settle for jab. If you have no meter, that's your go-to. Crouch jab, standing hard kick. That's your go-to combo. If you have no meter, okay, if you want to do a lot of damage. In my opinion, even though it does less damage, I personally like to do standing jab, crouching jab into quarter circle forward light punch. Obviously on hit, you want to land that because it's unsafe on block. It's unsafe on block, so you want to make sure you land it. Okay? That's what that means. If it's unsafe on block, you want to make sure you combo with it. You can still use it, but make sure you're comboing with it. You know, there's a big difference. You know what I'm saying? So basically, the reason now, if you're playing a character like Guile, don't think for 1 second, even though it's a little bit different, there is a similarity to it. Most Guile players like to hold down back and then do the flash kick. When you're doing the flash kick, do the tiger knee motion first. That's the secret to DJ and Guile being able to have this same kind of luxury. If you guys don't know what the Tiger Knee motion is, the original Tiger Knee motion of Street Fighter was quarter circle, down forward to up forward. It was like you were doing a half circle, but all towards your opponent. So you start at down forward, I believe, but it also registers when you're charging down back with Guile or DJ. So you're doing a down, I believe it's a down forward motion. This is not an actual motion. It's the motion input is down to up forward. I believe that's the true Tiger Knee motion, right? You go down, then down forward, then forward, then up forward. And before your character jumps in the air, you're doing another down forward circle. I mean, down forward, for Guile, for example, his super is down forward kick, right? So that's how those high-level Guile players are doing it. These are things that a lot of players are not telling you or teaching on the internet, you know, and keeping it kind of as like some hidden knowledge. And it's like really not fair to a lot of the beginner, intermediate players that want to get better and land stronger combos. So my recommendation to you, like let's say, for example, if you want to do a flash kick into a traditional quarter circle forward super motion after the flash kick, which is what most high-level player Guiles do, you're gonna go from charging down back to down to, and then you're gonna roll the joystick. Picture if you had a joystick and you rolled it from down back all the way past all the down motions. So in other words, it would go from down back to down forward to forward and then up forward. But before you actually jump in the air, you should already be doing the next, because that's gonna activate the flash kick. That bizarre motion that I'm explaining right now is going to activate the flash kick or the up kick with DJ. That's gonna activate that special move to come out. Now, after you activate it, you're gonna want to do another quarter circle forward punch or kick, depending on what your super motion is. If your level 3 super for your character is quarter circle forward punch or kick, you're gonna wanna. I know it sounds weird for Guile players because Guile players probably have it the hardest, but believe me, they made it way easier than ever before. So that Tiger Knee motion is going to represent the first half of the super motion, but it's also going to be able to allow you to activate the flash kick. Now, once that flash kick comes out, you have to do another quarter circle forward. Depending on your super, it's going to be either punch or kick. And if you do it correctly, it should combo the flash kick into the level 3 super, where a lot of players go, how is he doing a flash kick that's a charge motion and then suddenly going into a level 3 super like that? That's how they're doing it. They're not doing 3 quarter circle forward motions. I'm not doing 3 quarter circle forward motion. I might be mashing like I am, but I'm not actually doing it. The game itself is only recognizing that I have to do the motion more or less correctly. So with Kimberly, for example, my method is use the quarter circle forward light punch. Why do I say that? Because that first quarter circle forward light punch combos with basically the most important tool in the game, in my opinion, at the highest level, which is probably crouching light kick, crouching jab starter, and it combos into that, right? And if you have a level 3, guess what? Hold up, 1, 2, 3. I keep messing it up now. I think maybe. Now I'm messing it up. Maybe they're messing my motions up, but because I feel like I would never miss that any other way, but okay, I'm overcomplicating. Let me just do it. I keep missing the super. I think I don't know. My controller has been drifting. That's why I have not been playing that much. There it is, right there. That's what I was trying to prove. Like, Kimberly has it way easier than Guile, and it has way easier than DJ. And you know what? For good reason, and that goes for any of the charge characters. Now, make sure you land that combo properly, because if you make a mistake, you know, make sure you're landing your flash kick combo. You know what I'm saying? You could do that with the regular flash kick too. It doesn't have to be the enhanced version of the flash kick. It doesn't have to be the one that wastes meter. It could be the regular flash kick. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying I find it easier as a player, even though I can do the other one. You know, Blanca has setups like that as well, where Blanca has the same level 3 setup where the reason I would never rely on Blanca's anti-projectile level 2 that activates, makes the level 1 full screen. I do agree with that. You know, if you're playing against a zoner, I think that is the right decision. The problem is with that is most high-level zoners know if you activated something like that, I'm gonna stop. So now you just wasted a level 2 kind of. And the pressure with Blanca is really not that good off of the level 2, in my opinion. Because as long as you're blocking, he basically really can't do nothing to you. That's why I don't recommend Blanca's level 2 super. I do recommend Blanca's level 3 super. Like for example, if I were to do the guile method that I'm explaining, that tiger knee motion where you roll the controller from down to up forward. The real tiger knee motion, I believe, is down to up forward, where you roll it from down all the way to up forward. But if you're jumping in the air, then you took too long to press the button, because you should be pressing the button before your character actually jumps. Okay, I'm only referring to charge characters and their ability to combo into a level 3 super. This is how players are getting those max damage combos. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, that's how they're doing it. But you know, if people were interested in knowing that, you know what I'm saying, that was the real method. But I personally, since I play more characters that have motion inputs instead of charge inputs, you know, characters like Guile and DJ and partially Chun-Li now, they require special moves that have a charge motion. So in other words, most high level players hold down back the entire time. That way you have your charge available for a sonic boom, for example, with Guile, or a flash kick. So you can anti-air your opponent or zone them at any time. The downside to that, he's susceptible to overheads and jumping attacks. If you know for a fact that you're playing against a Guile that loves to down block, you have to set up situations where you could try to get cross-ups, overheads, you know, stuff like that. You have to. You have to. If he's not throwing projectiles, you know, you're going to have to find your moment where you do something like this. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have to set up your opponent with something like that where he knows he can't flash kick now. I'm not against in a very difficult actually, I don't think she really struggles with Guile or Ryu, and that's the big positive for Kimberly is that she does not struggle to beat some of the highest high level characters' gimmicks. Like I said, but yeah. Like I said, okay, you guys are, you know, like I said, I'm probably gonna end the stream there. I feel like I've given you way too much knowledge than I should have, but yeah, do not sleep on that setup, because that unblockable setup, because it might be the difference between, believe me, that unblockable setup has won me matches online at the highest level. I've gone cross-up jumping light kick, they block it, The spray can goes off. They block that. I commit to overhead after the jumping light kick. It hits the overhead hits my opponent. Level 3 super after that. Boom, boom, boom. Level 3. Won the match. Off of that unblockable setup. Okay? So, wasting meter to create a very hazardous situation for your opponent is understandable at the highest level. It happens all the time. In fact, I feel like that's the only thing that's ever happening. Okay? So that's my best advice, man. Like, you know? I'm probably gonna end it there. I don't know. I would play casual with my broken controller, but like I said, I don't know how long my controller has been drifting for, because I've been losing to a lot of players that normally I would not lose to. So I don't know why. You know, I have to get a new one, but you know, I'm not really in a rush to do it, because I'm not really going to tournaments or anything like that. So, but yeah, man, I spanked every player from the East Coast to the West Coast, man. Ain't nobody gonna tell me otherwise. I spanked every player from the East Coast to the West Coast. North, South, East, and West, man. Straight up. All right, I'm gonna end it there. Kimberly has like real incredible combo game, you know? You know, she like, they start to get a little bit like, see what I mean? Like after the pop up, if you don't want to throw a spray can or waste the meter after the pop up, you can actually drive rush and get to your opponent. Oh my God, hold up. It's so weird though. I don't know. I'm missing it. I never like to go for that. Because I just feel like it's such a, I don't know. If it does the damage, do it. You know, I'm not going to tell you how to play the game. If that's how you feel more comfortable playing, hey man, all the power to you. You know what I'm saying? But you know, I mainly try to do combo ender with Kimberly, unless I know for a fact I've cornered my opponent. And then instead of doing what I normally do after the Rekka, I always go air grab. Can you do hold up. Oh my God. I don't care. Don't need one, and neither does 90% of people out there. All right, guys. All right. Oh my God, I keep dropping to level 3. There it is. All right, guys, I'm gonna end the stream there. The only difference between the unblockable setup and the level 3 setup that I did right there is that after the ground bounce air grab, that the drive meter air grab that you do, Uh, yeah, like I said, I'm gonna end it there. The only difference is after the ground bounce, I'm doing the quarter circle forward light kick, and then I'm pressing light kick again. That's gonna pop them up into the air like that. Then after that, you do quarter circle forward light punch, and that's gonna count as half of the super. So that's why I say it makes it easier to land the super as well, because you're setting up your combos in a way where it makes it even easier to capitalize on offense. You know, that's the downside to playing Guile and DJ, is that it's way harder for them to do it, because not only do they need charge to do the fancier combos, but you know, they're hard to do. They're actually legitimately harder to do than a traditional Kimberly crouching light kick, crouching jab, quarter circle forward light punch, and then another quarter circle forward punch after that. I like to piano roll there. That's what they call it at the highest level. That basically means that you're just kind of randomly and as quick as you can activating all the punch buttons one at a time, like light punch, medium punch, hard punch, light punch, medium. Just randomize it. Like one at a time, though. Make sure you're doing it one at a time, not two at a time. Because that's also going to allow the game engine to recognize your input and give you more opportunity and chances. All right. See, like I'm almost damn near full screen. Look at that. I was still able to get that jumping light kick, jumping hard kick. Look at that. Like, look how easy they made it. It's like damn near full screen. That's what I mean about that reactable range, though, is that if you react early enough in the projectile animation, this is what happens. This is what happens. All right, now like half your health bar is gone or more, or something like that. And that was just because you decided to throw one projectile. So that's why I recommend at the highest level, if you are gonna do zoning, make sure you're 100% full screen, because I feel like damn near full screen. Like, cause anywhere in front of this is like guaranteed. Look at that. I was almost full screen. This is full screen. It won't reach. I know that for a fact. If they're absolutely full screen, you could throw a projectile. If they... All right, I'm gonna end it there. All right, and the best part about that combo, it works in the corner. So, I'm doing this with a character. I'm doing that with a controller that's drifting. It's like randomly pressing like hard kick and hard punch, and like randomly pressing buttons for me. Very annoying. It's probably my fault because I did drop this controller a few times. Unfortunately, man, I apologize to the hardworking people at Sony PlayStation Corporation that work so hard to put these controllers together, man. But you know, that's what I get for being clumsy. You know what I'm saying, and not cherishing my beautiful controller. Yeah, that's my best advice. That unblockable setup, if you're playing Kimberly, add it to your arsenal, man. Add it to your options, you know? Not to your arsenal, but add it to your options, man. Add it to your options. That's your available option, you know what I'm saying? And yeah, that's excellent. And a lot of times, believe it or not, in the corner, especially, I noticed that on block or on hit. Now, like I said, I don't recommend throwing this out there all the time. But if you throw it like, let's say once a match or something like that, they probably won't be able to react to that. You know what I'm saying? But I personally like to do it on hit because it guarantees that I'll be safe on block. But it does work on, it's like, for whatever reason, when people see Kimberly do the quarter circle back freestyle, they think it's the drive impact. See what I mean? It almost has that same startup sound. Like a little bit, like it kind of gets them nervous. Only in the corner though, I've noticed that people start getting reckless with the drive impact in the corner, but like, especially when they see Kimberly do that. And like, I'll throw it out there every once in a while. It'll be, you know, I'm not gonna sit here and say, oh, you know, depending on my opponent, if I see that, you know, my opponent's on point and he's counter hitting everything, and you know, I probably won't even throw that out there. But on hit, I will, because he might throw a drive impact. He might do a drive impact or invincible reversal, thinking that I dropped the combo. But that's what I want him to believe. I want him to believe that I dropped the combo right there, because he's gonna try to break through it with an invincible reversal or something like that, right? Because it's really his only option. So now I'm getting a second counter hit. Now I can do it again. Boom. Oh, you know, these are the things you got to think in your head. It's like every, you know, the way that the developers design it is like, it feels like, you know, a lot of what the character does has a legitimate purpose in the game plan for that character. With the exception of some of the more broken characters in the game, which I feel like even doing like something as simple as a drive impact to Guile is way harder than it should be. You know what I mean? In my opinion, like, it's good because I've tried it like a million times offline, and it does work, with the exception of the quarter circle back punch. If he does quarter circle back punch, unless for a fact you catch it at the very, very, very early, the most early, like the earliest activation, okay, I'm done. I don't know if I could, I love Street Fighter, you know what I'm saying? I appreciate the developers and what they've done. You know, I might not always see eye to eye with you guys because I'm just such a long time fan, but the more I play, the more I understand it, and the more I play it, in a lot of ways, I'm kind of happy that, you know, offline, it does feel like it offline, I feel like it does recognize the parry way faster. But damn, when I be trying to perfect parry drive impact online, man, or parry, I believe it doesn't matter what parry you do on drive impact, as long as you parry it, you get a free combo after it. But if you do a perfect parry, you get a really good combo after it. So that's one of those situations where I feel like, you know, parrying, if there's anything I would try to parry, it's probably only projectiles and drive impacts. You know what I'm saying? I don't even try to parry Sagat's Tiger Knee or anything like that, because it's only going to lead to you getting counter hit, and like, you know what I'm saying? It's only going to lead to that. You know, I recommend staying at a better range where it's easier to react to the Tiger Knee, and it basically nullifies it because of that. And a lot of arrogant Sagat players, they just want a tiger knee, tiger knee, you know, and it's just like tiger. Everything is tiger this, tiger that, and it's never, you know, they just want to get try to get easy wins based off of that tiger knee pressure, which, as far as I'm concerned, only the hard kick version on block is safe but that's if it gets there. And that's why I say it's kind of ignorant to rely on Tiger Knee pressure when you have projectile pressure that's far superior. And yeah, of course, there's a handful of characters in the game that you probably don't even want to do that. So now I guess you kind of have to Tiger Knee with Kimberly. I can understand Tiger Kneeing. Unless she has a level 1 super, you know, and she's not at a reactable range, you know, hey, I'm not gonna, you know, if you feel it'll work, then it probably will, because you've probably been practicing it over and over again. You know what I'm saying? I'm not a Sagat expert. You know, I'm not a Sagat expert anymore. But yeah, that's my best advice. You know what I'm saying? I'm just trying to, because I feel like anytime I go to fighting game, don't get me wrong, there are some fighting game fans that have channels and stuff that actually legitimately teach you things that probably no other player has taught you before. But I don't think anyone has ever really kind of mentioned specific stuff like that, because I feel like people overcomplicate it. Like, they see the double quarter circle forward motion, and then they got to do the regular motion to do the super. And how is he doing all that? How is he always getting that? And that's how I'm getting it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I'm getting it. I feel like that light kick. I feel like, you know what happened? You know what I would do with the light punch spray can? I would make it a combo ender, where it's like she throws like a projectile at their feet, the spray can, only on light punch, and obviously it would only be on hit, so it's not really that bad of a situation. But like, I feel like, what's the purpose of light punch when 99.9% of Kimberly players, maybe, I don't know, like, watch, like, look. I guess maybe you want the variety of all of them. See, like, that felt to me like it's the medium punch range. That's like probably the most complicated setup that complicated combo that you'll probably land after the, I wouldn't necessarily call it the unblockable setup, but it's more of like the pressure setup. The other one that I showed you with the air grab, the drive meter air grab that I did in the air, you know, the air grab, that is a true unblockable. As I'm almost 100% positive on that. And I'm happy they gave her that, because she kind of needs stuff like that. And it doesn't seem so cheap, especially considering that you wasted so much meter, and you also landed a combo to activate that situation in the first place. It's not like I'm just instantly putting you in an unblockable situation like Oro in Street Fighter 3, you know what I'm saying? Off of a standing medium punch, and then, you know, he does a level 3, you know, the Yagudama, and then all of a sudden he's on both sides, and like, I gotta, you know, I'm fighting for my life now, you know what I'm saying? What was I gonna say? Okay. Oh yeah. Okay. Yeah. After the spray can in the corner, depending on which one you do, I don't know if they're all the same time now, because light punch and medium punch seem very similar. Okay. Let's see. You're gonna want to do 1, 2, 3, and then go right into the light punch. Quarter circle forward light punch. So it's 1, 2, 3. If they don't commit to any drive reversal or anything like that, super or anything like that, if you know they have not done it, they have to respect your crouching light kick. You know what I'm saying? They have to respect your light kick, and the only way through that is with an invincible reversal, because they cannot grab you out of that. Like, that's the effectiveness of that crouching light kick, is that it comes out so much faster. In my opinion, I believe it does come out fast. I'm almost positive it comes out faster than the only thing is it cannot be. You could combo it into itself or a crouching jab, but it'll never counter hit into a big combo. So you could do crouching light kick, crouching jab, and then super after that. But you can't do like crouching light kick like you before. You were able to do crouching light kick, crouching light kick, crouching light kick level 3 super. They took that away. I'm pretty sure they could block that. That's not true unless you jab with it. You know what I'm saying? That's the original style. So, you know, I come from the era of Street Fighter where the original style was you go directly into a super and you didn't really have much time to really do it. You know what I'm saying? Now you have all the time in the world. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I got like all the time in the world to do it, but you know what I'm saying? Now it's not like before. It wasn't like that. You know what I'm saying? Like you legitimately had to be like proper. You know what I'm saying? And it could combo into any of those supers. You know, off of crouching light kick, crouching jab combo, crouching jab. You know what I'm saying? That's my best advice, man. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I'm gonna end it there. All right, guys, I'm gonna end it there. I hope you guys were able to learn something or find a video useful. You know, I am a fighting game fanatic, and you know, even I'm such a fighting game fanatic that, like, let's say for example, like, who's my one of my, let's say Jinx. Let's say Jinx. I'm such a fighting game fanatic. Like, even if Jinx was like, yo, if you stop playing fighting games right now, you can do whatever you want to me. And then I'll be like, I would still say no. Because I'm not giving up fighting games for anybody, man. Unless, like, the government, like, shuts it down. All right, man, I'm going to end it there, man. You know what I'm saying? It's a lot of fun. You know, it's like a chess match kind of people compare it to, but I beg to differ. It's way more fun than chess, that's for sure.
The time is now 2:50.
Chess is kind of boring to me.
Access switcher profile power.
I'm gonna end it. I'm gonna end the video. Thank God. Thank God. All right.
Sound broadcast. Pause block.